You're listening to a production of SportsLink Digital Radio.
Tonight, the paths of two of the hottest teams in the MAC converge here at Worthen Arena. It's the road to Cleveland as the MAC-leading Akron Zips travel to take on the scorching Ball State Cardinals. Good evening, folks. I'm Roen Elbert, joined by my partner Sam Klug. And Sam, two red-hot teams, the Cardinals. They've won 4 of their last 5 games as they are currently 6th in the MAC. The Akron Zips coming off of a 14-game win streak that was just broken in their last matchup. Now here we are with both of these teams colliding at one of the grandest stages of them all on the path to Cleveland. I don't know about you, but I'm excited.
Man, Rowan, I'm excited too. Going to be a fantastic game here in Worthen Arena tonight. Like you said, both these teams scorching hot. Akron obviously closing in on that regular season championship for the MAC. A win tonight puts them about a game away from clinching a share. Ball State, though, is in that fight, that 3-team fight to get seeds 6 through 8. Right now, tied for 6 in the MAC. And if you don't know, 8 out of the 12 teams make the MAC tournament in Ohio. And we know the Cardinals are determined to get to that tournament after missing it last year.
And you hear it, the Cardinals are making their way onto the court to enter Sandman. Now let's talk about the Akron Zips. Akron coming off of a pretty rough loss, ending a 14-game win streak, which was the hottest in all of college basketball. They ended up losing 84-67 to the Ohio Bobcats, again breaking a 14-game win streak. And the key storyline behind that game was 14 turnovers and shooting 22% from the field. Now, Sam, how do the Zips bounce back in a pretty tough environment tonight?
Well, I think, like you said, they got to take care of the ball and they got to shoot well. Not only do they have to shoot well, but they got to have some of their key players be those guys who shoot well. Both the Johnsons, Nate Johnson and Tavari Johnson, didn't have the best games of their career versus Ohio. They're two of the players who score a lot. They need those guys to step up in a tough environment, hit shots, get the ball in the basket.
And now for Ball State. Again, 4 of the last 5 games have been wins. Also, though, 4 of the last 5 games have been single-digit games. It's been coming down to the wire. But in these last 5 games, Sam, what has stood out to you about Michael Lewis's Ball State Cardinals?
Well, they've been super resilient. Like we said earlier, a lot of these games have been single-digit differences. 2 of their past 5 games have been in overtime, obviously winning both at home versus Eastern Michigan and Northern Illinois. This team has gotten it done when they need to get it done. When you can win in overtime in that extra period, it shows your team has something different that kind of sets you apart from other teams across maybe the conference or the league as a whole. Getting it done in overtime is something a lot of teams dream of, and Ball State has shown that they can. Resiliency is big for them, and I'm expecting them to show more of it today.
Now, Sam, both of these teams are in a position to succeed in March and do some damage, and that's due in large part to the star power that both teams have, and that's going to be the deciding factor of who escapes Worthen Arena with a W tonight. Now, Sam, who are these impact players for both teams?
Yeah, for the Akron Zips, I have Amani Lyles, a junior forward from Columbus, Ohio, averaging about 8 points a game, but last game he scored 17, shooting 7 for 8 from the field and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He also grabbed 4 rebounds. He was a super big part of the team of Akron that scored versus Ohio. Obviously, the game as a whole did not go their way, but he's a guy who really stepped up. And I think if Akron gets him going, Ball State's going to be looking for some answers to some questions. For the Cardinals, I have the big man in the middle, Peyton Sparks, the senior from Winchester, Indiana. Obviously, making his return to Muncie after a year at IU, but he's a guy who's been playing so much better in this second half of the season than the first half. Ball State had a lot of high expectations coming into this year. Started kind of slow. Now they're back at that 500 level, and they need a guy like Peyton Sparks to step up in these big moments.
And Sam, the fun is just getting started here from Worthen Arena. It's a packed house. The Ball State Cardinals are 3rd in the MAC in attendance, and tonight it shows some Tuesday night MACtion here from Worthen Arena. The Ball State Cardinals playing host to first place Akron. We'll be right back. We're going to take it to a quick commercial break. You are listening to SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, Papergo toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
For the best stories, access, and coverage of Ball State sports, follow SportsLink on social media platforms Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Search @BSU SportsLink.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Your home for live Ball State sports, streaming right in your timeline.
This is SportsLink Digital.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, Papergo toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
Welcome back from Worthen Arena, where the Ball State Cardinals playing host to the Akron Zips. I'm Roen Elbert, joined by my partner Sam Klug. The starting lineups being announced for both teams, but before we get there, let's talk about some keys to the game, as both of these teams looking for a big MAC victory as we head into March.
Yeah, that's right. For the Akron Zips, my keys to the game for them is shoot the ball well. Like we said, did not have the best game before. 22% as a team from the field, 64% from the charity stripe. Something they definitely need to do better. But also, take care of the ball. Turnovers are something you cannot have versus this gritty and scrappy Ball State team. They had 14 last game. They averaged 12 as a team. But coming into the Ohio game, the game before, they only had 8, and they won. This is something they need to limit. For the Cardinals, spread the love. We're in the month of love. We just had Valentine's Day a few days ago. 4 guys last game were in double digits, more than 10 points. This is something I think that really benefits the Cardinals. When you have guys, when you're distributing the ball well, I should say, not just going through one player such as Fat Hill or Peyton Sparks, you have more options. You confuse the defense of whoever your opponent is. If they continue to do that, I think it's going to really cause Akron to struggle, and it helps the Ball State Cardinals on the offensive side.
Now, as the starting lineups are being introduced, let's go over the starting 5 for the Cardinals. And for Ball State, yet again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm talking about number 1, Jamari Fat Hill. Number 2, Ethan Britton Watts. Number 3, Mickey Pearson. Number 4, Peyton Sparks. Number 5, Peyton Sparks. Number 4, Juancy Gorosito. The Cardinals going with their usual 5 there, with Sparks in the middle, Gorosito and Britton Watts on the wings. Pearson down low, controlling with Sparks, and Hill controlling as the guard, the maestro. However, for Akron, again, their usual starting 5. It's Tavari Johnson, the junior guard, out there with the redshirt junior guard, Nate Johnson. Also, the Cornell transfer, senior Isaiah Gray. He is joined by the West Virginia transfer, Seth Wilson. And finally, running the middle, the former North Carolina Tar Heel and West Virginia Mountaineer, James Okonkwo.
Yeah, and if you're someone who does not follow Akron basketball, Josiah Harris, who's a junior wing/forward from Canton, Ohio, out for the year. He started 6 games to begin the year. He played in all 6 of those, but he is out for the season with an injury. That's a note to keep on the Zips. Obviously, it hasn't slowed them down at all. 13-1 in MAC play.
Yeah, and it's a testament to how good this Akron team is, because he goes down in December, and this team has been playing their best basketball ever since that injury, as there's no doubt, had that injury not happened, Josiah Harris would be an integral part of where Akron is right now. But what I do want to talk about is Peyton Sparks and James Okonkwo. I love this matchup. 2 guys that were transfers last year, Peyton Sparks from IU, Okonkwo from North Carolina. How does one of those 2 guys get the edge?
Well, I think you just got to have help from your supporting cast, whoever that is, whether it's Peyton Sparks getting the down low pass from Fat Hill, Ethan Britton-Watts, or Mickey Pearson. Maybe that's James Okonkwo getting a nice dish from Nate Johnson, grabbing those rebounds off those misses. I think using your supporting cast to your ability, whoever that is on the floor, gets the edge. If I had to predict, I think it's going to go to Peyton Sparks because I believe he's a more physical player. I think Ball State as a whole is a more physical team, but time will tell who wins that battle. And like you said, it's one of the many battles throughout this game, but I think it's one that will tell which is the better team.
Yeah, again, that's why I asked you that question, and I love this question so much because it's a matter of physicality on Peyton Sparks' end and athleticism more on Okonkwo's end. I'm really looking forward to that matchup, but we are just about to tip off here from Worthen Arena. The Ball State Cardinals in their gray uniforms, red lettering, white trim. The Akron Zips in their navy blue uniforms with the gold lettering, no trim. Sparks and Okonkwo at the Cardinal head logo to tip it off. Ball State on the left end of the court, Akron on the right. We are just about to be underway here from Worthen Arena for our marquee Tuesday night matchup here in the MAC. And we are underway. Akron wins the tip. Nate Johnson recovers, and now Tavari Johnson takes it up for the Zips. He has been the primary playmaker for this team all year, averaging the most assists on the team. He gets off of a handoff. He's on the right wing, guarded by Britton-Watts. Now Gray inside the perimeter. Hands off to Seth Wilson. He's at the free throw line. Again, the give to Tavari Johnson on the perimeter. Shot clock down to 10. He's on the opposite mid-range. Seth Wilson, pull-up 3 straight away. It's short. Long rebound by Wilson off of the tip from Nate Johnson. Wilson powers through on the opposite block. Defers back outside to Nate Johnson. He's in trouble. Fadeaway jumper falls through. Zips take an early 2-0 lead. Now Ethan Britton-Watts for Ball State. 19-13, the clock ticking to go in this first half. Akron already with a 2-0 advantage. Fat Hill on the left wing, gives to Gorosito straight away. Mickey Pearson now on that right block. He gets fouled on the floor by Seth Wilson, the former West Virginia Mountaineer. That one on the floor, and for Akron, again, you want to avoid getting into foul trouble, and that's not a good start.
No, it's not at all, but I want to touch on the Akron offense down here. Their first run through of plays didn't work. They got the long rebound, came back out, reset their offense, and it capitalized on a bucket, something Ball State needs to limit.
Cardinals inbound. They're on the right side of the court. Jamari Hill gets it off of the inbound. Lob up inside for Peyton Sparks. Guarded by Okonkwo on the near block. He's double teamed. Has to go back outside. Mickey Pearson thought about a left wing 3. He instead spins on the high block. Shot clock down to 7. Fat Hill, right wing, 3-pointer, cash! Cardinals respond and take an early 3-2 lead. 18:45 and some change left in the first half.
Good job by Hill just deciding to take that shot. Man, making an executive decision, pulling up, draining the 3.
Gray, a floater on the left side, and Akron responds with a lay-in from the Cornell transfer Isaiah Gray. 4-3 Zips now as Ball State again moves left to right with it. Still very early in this contest, as Ethan Britton-Watts works off of a screen from Peyton Sparks. Mickey Pearson, deep straightaway 3, and he gets it to fall. Cardinals 6, Akron 4.
Good sign for the Cardinals so far, draining early 3s. They need to shoot lights out if they want to break this zone defense that Akron has.
Tavari Johnson pushes off of Peyton Sparks, near block with the contact, gets the shot to fall off glass. 6-6, we are tied. Back and forth we go.
Wow.
Ethan Britton Watts at midcourt, guarded by Gray. Now the right wing, it's Fat Hill. Pick and roll with Sparks. He's trampled. Far corner, Gorosito, 3 off the front of the rim. Long rebound, Gorosito fights for it. Puts it back up over Okonkwo. Has to go outside to Britton Watts. Fat Hill's three-pointer. He is fouled. It'll be 3 free throws for Jamari Hill.
One foul you don't want to see there. One of their best players fouling Ball State's best player, Tavari Johnson, with his first foul of the contest. You don't want to foul a guy who can shoot the 3 on the three-pointer. That's something every basketball coach teaches. Not a good sign and not a good start for Akron.
Now Jamari Hill at the free throw line.
Jamari Hill coming in today, shooting 67% from the free throw line. Definitely wants to up that heading into the MAC tournament. Shot number 2 on the way.
Jamari Hill gets that one to fall. Now 7-6 Cardinals. Let's see if Jamari can now get this one up, and it falls through. 8-6 Cardinals. Again, back and forth we go. Jamari Hill with 5 points on the day so far. James Okonkwo straight away, guarded by Peyton Sparks. Hands off to Tavari Johnson. Drives in with the right hand. Pull-up J just inside the perimeter. All nylon there. Akron again with the response. We're knotted up at 8.
Nice back and forth so far. 2 premier offensive teams going at it so far. Only 3 minutes in, it's 8-8.
Britton Watts in trouble. He's in the jam, goes back outside Gorosito. Mickey Pearson inside the Peyton Sparks. Near block, backs down to Okonkwo. Puts it up, back iron. Tip back out to Tavari Johnson on the long rebound. Akron moves quickly. Right wing swings out Wilson. Fadeaway three-pointer off the side of the rim. Gorosito fights hard to get that one. Up from Hill, and he draws the contact on his way to the rim. It'll be another 2 free throws for Fat Hill with 16:39 to go in the first half. We're tied at 8.
I believe that was another foul on Tavari Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. His second personal. Already 2. Probably going to have a sub out now. 2 on one of Akron's star players.
And now we see Shama Scott and Sharon Young looking to check in with Jeremiah Hernandez as well for Ball State. First free throw for Hill goes through. Hernandez checks in for Wansi Gorosito. On the other end, it's 3 changes now for Akron. We have Amani Lyles coming in for Okonkwo. Ben Hendricks now comes in for Peyton Sparks of Ball State. We have Shama Scott and Sharon Young entering the game for the Akron Zips.
Something you see common from Ball State is those early subs at the center position.
Second free throw is off the mark. And now Isaiah Gray the other way. Isaiah Gray left wing, swings across. And now the handoff to Sharon Young. Straight away, pass inside to Mickey Pearson is intercepted. And Akron will inbound with Sharon Young now as, again, they trail 9-8 with 16:19 left in this first half. Right side of the basket, they inbound. The near corner, Shama Scott with it. Gets a screen from Lyles. Pick and roll. Amani Lyles short, gets his own rebound in the paint, back up and in. Ethan Britton Watts the other way. 16 minutes to go in the first half. He's guarded by Isaiah Gray. Bounce over to Mickey Pearson on the left wing. He's in a jam, guarded closely by Scott. Britton Watts, a screen from Hendricks. Swings it back out, Pearson. Left wing 3, off back iron, a little too strong, and Isaiah Gray goes back with it.
Ball State got to play. Oh, there's a steal.
Jeremiah Hernandez intercepts it. He gets it back at the top of the key. Gives to Pearson inside. The tough take, just too strong. And a foul called on the floor. And that'll take us to a quick media timeout where the Akron Zips have a 10-9 lead. 15:32 to go in the first half. We'll be right back. The Ball State Cardinals Only trailing by 1, you're listening to SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptoninn.com. At munciesweets.hamptoninn.com.
Back inside Worthen Arena, where the Ball State Cardinals currently trail 10-9 to the Akron Zips, 15:32 to go in the first half. I'm Roen Elbert, joined by my partner Sam Klug. We apologize for some technical difficulties we encountered a little bit in the beginning of the broadcast. Hopefully that is behind us, but what is ahead of us is a really good contest.
That's right. I mean, we've seen it so far. Tight-knit game. Obviously, two of the hotter MAC teams like we touched on in our pregame. 10-9 so far, Akron leading. I've liked the way Ball State has played so far. Obviously, everybody knows this is a big game, and they've shown out so far.
Left side of the basket, Britton Watts will inbound. It's Jeremiah Hernandez, who just recently checked into the contest. He's in a double team with Shama Scott on him on the right wing. Goes between the legs. Back outside to Fat Hill. His pull-up J just inside the perimeter is too strong. Mickey Pearson back up and in. Cardinals 11, Akron 10.
What a touch by Mickey Pearson, jumping as high as he can, putting it back. Great athleticism.
Now straight away, Amani Lyles goes strong with the left hand into the paint, but defers back outside to Nate Johnson. Step back three on the left wing, it's cash. Akron with the perfect response to make it 13-11, just under 15 minutes to play in the first half.
Yeah, Nate Johnson saw that switch. Ben Hendricks was on him, decided to pull up. Not enough length in the wingspan for Ben Hendricks right there.
Fat Hill spin move to the cup and in. We are tied again at 13. Jamari Hill already 8 points. Akron quick the other way. Nate Johnson responds with a lay-in on the near block. 15-13, back and forth we go, as we've said all night.
And you're going to see that all game. These two teams, this might turn into a shootout. Who knows?
Ethan Britton Watts, a screen on the left wing from Hendricks. Back outside, Jeremiah Hernandez. Britton Watts receives again and drains the left wing three-pointer. 16-15, Cardinals back out in front.
Cardinals sharing the love like I touched on. Everybody's scoring today.
Now Lyles, he hands off, gives to Sharon Young. High block, Lyles with Ben Hendricks on him. Ben Hendricks coming off of a career day against Buffalo on Saturday. Lyles pull up three-pointer, a shot you don't see him take too often is off the mark. Long rebound by Hendricks, batted back in play to Akron. Shama Scott with the tough take and the and one, a chance for a three-point play. Akron with a 1-point lead.
I love that play right there by Ben Hendricks, but man, you cannot tap it to the other team. When he taps it to the other team, they caught the Ball State defense lacking. They were all spread out. Nobody was guarding the paint where Hendricks would usually be. and it's an easy layup and one for Shema Scott.
And a change made for the Cardinals. Joey Hart, the Kentucky transfer, checks in for Jeremiah Hernandez. And Mickey Pearson, after the made three throw from Shema Scott, inbounds to Britton Watts. Akron brings a soft pressure. Again, 13:35 to go in this first half. Britton Watts goes strong, up under, in. Hendricks hammers it down on the putback. We're tied at 18.
Great awareness there by Ben Hendricks fouling.
Shema Scott, it's a barrage of points. His top of the key three is good. 21-18 Akron. I am floored, Sam. This is a barrage of points. And the takeaway almost from Young on the inbound. Cardinals are somehow able to get away. They're on the right side of the court. They move left to right. Top of the key, Ethan Britton Watts controls. Joey Hart cuts across, and he gets it on the left wing, guarded by Bowen Hardman. Back outside, Ben Hendricks. Hart receives on a handoff. He's in trouble. 5 on the shot clock. Britton Watts, screen, deep three, and an illegal screen goes against Ben Hendricks before Hart can put up a shot. That'll go Akron's direction. And some changes made for both teams. Tavari Johnson and Seth Wilson check in for Akron. And for Ball State, you have Joey Hart, Peyton Sparks, and Wansi Gorosito back into the contest.
Yeah, and another important note, first foul on Ben Hendricks. Obviously, their backup big guy, he goes to sit now. But like you said, floored is a good word to describe it. A lot of mayhem going on. That last possession looked like Jamari Hill did not know the pass was coming to him.
Now Tavari Johnson on the left wing. Step back three-pointer. Nearly traveled in the process. The crowd is in shock. They didn't call it. He's back with it with his left hand on the high block, guarded by Hart. Fade away inside the paint. Tavari Johnson tacks on another 2 points.
He's got 6 total for the game today. Coming off coming off 12 against Ohio. He's already got half of that.
23-18 Zips, 12 minutes and some change left. Cardinals on the right end of the court. Mason Jones defers inside to Peyton Sparks. Spin move, gets tussled, back up, rejected by Okonkwo, and Akron takes it the other way.
Great defense by Okonkwo right there.
Shema Scott goes strong with his right hand. Joey Hart with the tough contest, and a foul called. Looks like Akron will shoot 2 free throws. And we head into a timeout with 11:54 to go in this first half. Akron leads 23-18. Now, Sam, high scoring is the least I could say. Both teams are pouring it on. I'm looking at the shooting numbers. Akron shooting 71%. And to put it into perspective, they shot 22% in their last game. The Cardinals shooting 46%, however. A 5-point game. What has been the spark for both teams?
Well, I think for Akron, it was one of our keys to the game is they need to shoot the ball well. And I think they, like you said, have. They're shooting 50% better than their last game versus Ohio. That has definitely been a spark for them. And, yeah, for Ball State, on the other hand, their defense has definitely been okay, but they need to step up and continue to maintain and contain whoever is scoring the ball. Obviously, we've seen from the Akron Zips offense, Tavari Johnson has been smooth. He's been getting inside, hitting those floaters, and he's been causing them a lot of problems.
And now for Ball State on the other end.
Again.
Ball State on the other end, we have this matchup right now down low with Peyton Sparks and Okonkwo. This is interesting considering what these two have been able to do on the season. Peyton Sparks so far yet to score. Okonkwo had the block on him earlier. Now, Sam, this matchup, it's been a battle of the Titans like we expected. What do you anticipate throughout the rest of the matchup?
Well, I think I anticipate what we just saw down there. They got into a tussle down there. No fouls were called, and I think I like that. They're letting them play. It reminds me a lot of Big East basketball, you know? It's aggressive, not too many fouls called. They just go at it, you know? 2 players being physical, playing what basketball is supposed to be, which is a physical contact sport. And we're down there. They were going hard, but I think it's going to be one of the better matchups we see all year.
We're going to take it to a quick commercial break as we escape this media timeout. We'll be right back as Ball State trails 23-18. You're listening to Ball State men's basketball on SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptoninn.com. At munciesweets.hamptoninn.com.
We are back from Worthen Arena as Shama Scott hits the second free throw. 25-18, Akron leads as Ball State takes it left to right. Jamari Hill to give to Joey Hart on the right wing, guarded by Gray. Gets a screen from Sparks. Still has it straight away. Gorosito off of a handoff. He pushes. Jumper on the near side. Goes too strong.
Gorosito, the native of Argentina, had a good look there. Didn't get it to fall.
Seth Wilson on the right wing, defers back out to Scott. He receives again, right wing, three-pointer, cash. Akron going on a run here, 28-18, 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes.
Big bucket there by Seth Wilson, the senior from Ohio. Had 12 points last game as well.
And Wansi Gorosito gets fouled on the floor as he's driving by Tavari Johnson. So now here we are with Gorosito already drawing fouls against Akron.
That's right, and Tavari Johnson has 3 fouls, and we're not even at the halfway point in this first half. That's something that we should definitely be keeping an eye out for, because Tavari Johnson's averaging 12.5 points a game, shooting 44 from the field and 90% from the charity stripe.
Near side, Gorosito's in trouble, guarded closely by Young. Fat Hill with his left hand tries to go strong, but he bounces inside to Peyton Sparks to his right. Goes strong with it too much, gets it put back up and rejected by Okonkwo. However, goaltending on James Okonkwo, so Ball State gets 2 points.
That was a crazy sequence right there, and more of that physical battle between Sparks and Okonkwo that we've seen. Looked like he had a block there. Officials call it a goaltend as the ball looked like it was coming down, but man, lot of action to be played. And as we can see on the replay here on the Jumbotron, getting physical down there.
It sure is getting a little chippy. And now Shama Scott takes it up for Akron. Again, they move right to left. 10:30 and some change left. They hold an 8-point lead over the Cardinals. Top of the key, Seth Wilson. The give to Scott. Bounces it inside to Amani Lyles to his right. Akron moving it on the perimeter. At the MAC logo, Sharon Young step back, and he gets it to fall to make it a 10-point Akron advantage with 10 minutes, 25 seconds to go in this first half.
Yeah, Sharon Young, first ever Morgantown High School player to win Gatorade Player of the Year back in West Virginia.
A lot of West Virginia ties on this team as Fat Hill tried to bounce it inside to Mason Jones off of the foot of Scott. And the change made for the Zips, it's Nate Johnson coming in for Scott. And then we have Mickey Pearson and Ethan Britton-Watts in for the Cardinals.
Yeah, you touched on that Mountaineer State connection. Akron's roster has 4 players with connections to that state, whether they played at West Virginia University. And like Young, he played at a high school in West Virginia.
Yeah, we know John Gross. That's the type of player he likes to see. Jamari Hill, top of the key, bounces inside. Peyton Sparks on the near block. He's in trouble with the double team. He has to go back outside to Fat Hill. Shot clock under 10. We're at 5 now. Behind the back on the right wing, still working the perimeter. Looking for Mickey Pearson. Far too long, out of bounds on the baseline. Akron takes control.
Ball State been a little sloppy with the ball so far. We've seen these doubles in the Akron defense that's gotten Peyton Sparks a little uncomfortable. He's had to pass it out a few times, and it really unsettles the offense. I don't think Coach Michael Lewis is too happy. They need to settle in, make clean, crisp passes, and just go from there.
Straight away, it's Amani Lyles. Seth Wilson thought about a right wing three. We've seen him attempt a few. Nate Johnson fakes the fadeaway and goes back inside to Lyles, who goes up, under, and in. 32-20, Akron on a tear.
Great fake, got Peyton to jump. Monty cutting in, beat his man, and that was history after that.
Foul on the floor as Mickey Pearson was cutting across the baseline. Goes against Nate Johnson. That's his first foul on the day. And we talk about the high scoring, especially on Akron's end. Coming out of that last timeout about 3 minutes ago, Cardinals have only put up 2 more points since then. But for Akron, so far, 2 players with high numbers, with Nate Johnson at 7 and Shama Scott at 8. And Sharon Young checks out of the contest, and back in is Scott. Ethan Britton-Watts on the baseline, goes back inside to Peyton Sparks. Spin move up, over, too long. It's stripped away by Lyles as Akron moves. Right wing, it's Isaiah Gray guarded by Mickey Pearson. Peyton Sparks, he's able to poke it away. Gorosito, fast break left to right. Up, over, tough take, draws the contact. Gorosito will go to the charity stripe.
All-around effort right there by the Cardinals. Sparks diving on the floor. Gorosito flooring it all the way down to the other end. Although he didn't finish the basket, drew the foul. That's what you get when you have speed like Gorosito has. A quick guy can just take the ball, go the length of the court, get it up, draw 2 shots. Very good play by the young Argentinian.
And now the Cardinals, they're up in the bonus now after that foul as Gorosito hits the first free throw. How important is that as we're about at the halfway point of the first half?
I think it's very important because as you look at Akron's roster, they have a deeper team. You know, they have 2 or 3 extra guys on their bench and more of an older team as well. Although Ball State can be considered as an older team, Akron has guys that it's like a next man up mentality. Like we said earlier, Josiah Harris went down early, but they've had guys who step up. And we touched on it already, but Tavari Johnson, 3 fouls already. That's super good for the Cardinals, especially maybe heading into the second half.
Now Shama Scott at midcourt, guarded by Fat Hill. 9 minutes and some change left. A 10-point Akron lead. Gets a screen from Lyles. Far corner on the right side pass to Bowen Hardman, the former Buckeye. Inside looking for Nate Johnson. Another one. See Gorosito takeaway. Bounces over to Ethan Britton-Watts. The Cardinals do reset as they still work the perimeter. 20 on the shot clock. Cardinals taking their time. They trail by 10. Gorosito drives the baseline. Back outside, Mickey Pearson thought about a straightaway 3. He instead pushes, draws the contact, and that's an offensive foul on Mickey Pearson. Akron takes it the other way.
Something you don't see as often in basketball anymore, someone taking charges. Great play there by Lyles. And again, he was my impact player. He had a great game versus Ohio, although the team as a whole did not. But man, he's off to a decent start today, taking that charge, and Mickey Pearson looked a little out of control there, heading to the basket, and he took advantage of that.
Hey, it shows heart. It shows heart for the game. And left wing, it's Scott with it for Akron. The give to Young. The freshman drills the 3-pointer. 35-22, Akron. It has been all of them in the past 5 minutes.
Different people scoring now for Akron. Ball State needs to start looking for answers. Got to guard more than just one person.
Britton-Watts guarded by Young. Inside, Mickey Pearson up and under with the beautiful weigh-in from Mickey Pearson.
Great get back for Mickey Pearson after having that offensive foul. Got back, saw the guy in the air, adjusted midair.
Bowen Hardman, a 3-point jumper, goes too strong. Akron gets the offensive board. Hardman, he wants another one. Again, too strong. Okonkwo bats it all the way back out on the right side of the court. Akron continues their long possession with 20 on the shot clock. And the official stops the play, and still a little bit of confusion. The refs call a timeout as both the Cardinals and the Zips will meet with their players.
Not sure if they want to look at it for a backcourt violation, because it did indeed look like an Akron player tapped it back behind the Cardinal face, which would be a backcourt violation. Although if the Cardinals tapped it, that resets the shot clock, resets it, Akron can go back and get it.
Yeah, because I will admit, I saw a lot of puzzled faces in the arena after Okonkwo tips it all the way back on the Ball State's end. Now the Cardinals, the last time we had a media timeout, they were only trailing by 5. Now they're in a bit of a hole, trailing by 11, to the MAC leader. Akron looks like they have completely bounced back from their blowout loss to Ohio. Ball State, how do they get back into this contest, even though it is early?
It is early indeed, but I think one of the big things is being strong on getting boards. I said earlier in the pregame show, Peyton Sparks leads the MAC in rebounding. We really haven't seen much of that so far today. It's something that causes longer possessions for Akron, like we just saw right there. The tap back out, another rebound, another rebound. It gives Akron more opportunities to score when Ball State should be grabbing these rebounds, going down the floor, and setting up their offense.
And I'm getting a little deja vu from back in early February, where on the road, the Cardinals beat Buffalo. Next game, they travel to Akron, and they suffer a loss, a game where they really outplayed Akron in that first half. Second half was all Zips. And here we are again, Ball State at home this time around, coming off a big win against Buffalo, now taking on Akron, and it's kind of up in the air at this point.
It is. Now, if history proves to be right, I think maybe they're outplayed here in the first half at home, but maybe they come back with a little better of a second half and maybe steal this one from Akron. But I think what Michael Lewis is definitely saying in that huddle is rebound, 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 stressing the importance of getting rebounds, taking care of the rock, causing more turnovers, less turnovers on your side. And I think, like we said, resiliency. I know he has a lot of belief in his team, but maybe they need a little bit of that right now as they are down currently 13.
And I think that's the question, really, if you're an Akron fan or really any fan, is does lightning strike twice?
Time will tell. That's all I got to know.
Yeah, that's all we got to say. As Akron trots their lineup back out after looked like the referees were discussing the over and back, but they keep it here with the Zips, and it will be Sharon Young to inbound for Akron on the far sideline. Okonkwo hands off to him, a senior to a freshman. He's on the right wing to give to Bowen Hardman, the former Ohio State Buckeye with his first year as a Zip. Nate Johnson back three-pointer on the left wing. It's off, and Wansi Gorosito diving in to get the board.
One thing I've loved so far is Wansi's athleticism and just giving his body up for the rebound. He's got a few of those where he just jumps up and grabs it.
Jeremiah Hernandez, far three for Britton Watts. It's a drain. Oh, Ethan Britton Watts gets it back down to 10.
Second three on the day. He's now up to 6 points.
Yeah, so all of his points because of the three-point line. James Okonkwo gets called for an illegal screen on Gorosito. That prompts head coach John Gross to make some changes. Out goes Sharon Young and Bowen Hardman. In comes Seth Wilson and Isaiah Gray.
Yeah, an interesting note on Okonkwo so far. He's recorded 4+ personal fouls in 5 of his last 7 games, so something he definitely needs to tone down. He's gotten into some foul trouble, and a lot of these MAC games, where like we said, it can be pretty physical, but you see it right there, got caught lacking in the offensive side.
Okonkwo not really known for his scoring either, but it's a little shocking to see him with 0 points this deep into the ball game. 6:45 left to go in the first half. Mickey Pearson, a deep one. He gets it to fall. 7-point Akron lead. Ball State clawing their way back.
Man, the three-pointers are coming alive just like they did early on in the game. Ball State has to keep going back to that. They cut it to 7.
Shamas Scott goes between the legs and defers back out to Gray. Akron with half of the shot clock down. Goes back across to Nate Johnson. He's guarded on a double team. Goes back outside. It's Lyles. Goes strong to the cup. And on the floor.
Looks like we might have a goaltending call.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Maybe some basket interference on Peyton Sparks. They're showing it right here at the rim on the replay. It looks like Sparks. That may be a goaltend, and that's the direction they're going with.
I believe he hit the backboard, which I believe is a rule. You cannot hit the backboard as a defensive player, and Peyton Sparks clearly slapped it.
37-28. Foul on the floor now. Again, Cardinals still in that bonus. Ben Hendricks has checked back into the game for Peyton Sparks, so the Cardinals will shoot 2 free throws. 6:09 to go in the first half. Akron a 37-28 advantage as Ben Hendricks, a guy shooting 74% from the stripe, he will shoot 2. And in for Akron the first time today, Marvin Massimi Kamali.
It's a heck of a name right there. Rolls off the tongue nicely.
First free throw for Hendricks is good. Ben Hendricks overall the last few games has had a great shooting touch. Had a career-high 14 points against Buffalo in the last contest. And in the last 5 games, shooting overall 81%. He goes 2 for 2 from the line.
Yeah, even though he's a center, he has some really good shooting numbers, like you mentioned. 74 from the free throw line and 67% from the field coming into today.
Isaiah Gray straight away. The give to Kamali, who's guarded by Hendricks. Hands off to Scott on the high block. Seth Wilson thought about a left wing 3. He instead goes back outside to Gray. Shot clock under 10. Kamali's in the paint. On Hendricks. Too short. Ben Hendricks with the great defensive effort. Mickey Pearson strong the other way. It's Fat Hill. Lob up inside for Hendricks. It's intercepted by Nate Johnson, and Seth Wilson goes right to left with it.
Got to control the ball right there. They tried to rush it, tried to get inside to Hendricks. He wasn't ready, and he's not there, and the ball's a turnover.
Back cut. Isaiah Gray gets the foul on Jamari Hill. Fat Hill went so high up trying to contest that lay-in that he ended up grabbing onto the rim.
Athletic. And if you remember back to the Eastern Michigan game, he took on one of their centers for a dunk. It was a game-winning dunk. Just shows the athleticism for the junior out of South Plains Junior College.
Gray's first free throw was able to fall. Isaiah Gray, who has started every game this year, is a 75% free throw shooter. Last year was second in the Ivy League at Cornell in field goal percentage.
Yeah, Isaiah Gray attended 1 year at Cushing Academy. Although he did not finish there, same academy as, like you said, Marvin Masimi Kamali. Cushing Academy relatives right there.
Yeah, the connections are everywhere on this Akron team. We talked about the West Virginia connection earlier, and now that. Britton Watts bounces inside to Ben Hendricks. The handoff to Jamari Hill with Kamali on the mismatch. Near block, back outside Hernandez. 10 on the shot clock. Fat Hill drives baseline, tries to body off of Kamali. He instead defers out to Hernandez. Goes cross court, intercepted by Gray. One-on-one with Hernandez. Jeremiah Hernandez ends up bumping him just as he crosses into the perimeter. Foul on the floor.
Second foul on Hernandez. Yet to do much in this game so far, but probably a smarter play to foul before he got there instead of letting him get an and-one basket.
And in comes Juancy Gorosito for Jeremiah Hernandez. And that's something I do want to touch on as we have under 5 minutes to go in this first half, is that the Cardinals, you see a lot of the same rotations, same substitutions. For Akron, they differ it up quite a bit.
They do. They got a lot of rotations.
Nate Johnson, fadeaway, goes a little too strong. And Juancy Gorosito takes it up for the Cardinals left to right as they trail by 9 to Akron. Mickey Pearson gets one man to miss. Pull-up three-pointer, rims out, and Kamali collects the miss.
I think your Ball State, you need to get Peyton Sparks back in there. Clearly, this rotation is not working with Hendricks at the center.
Gray on the opposite mid-range. Tries to back down Gorosito. Back outside, Shama Scott. His right wing 3 off the back iron. Gorosito, another rebound. He's up to 5 on the day.
Man, it's rare for a guard to be in there getting that many rebounds, but like I said, sneaky athleticism, can jump high. He's grabbing them.
Fat Hill gets a man to miss, and his fadeaway three-pointer off the back iron. And Shama Scott takes up for Akron as he missed a three-pointer in the last possession. Nate Johnson, far corner with Gorosito on him. Johnson, 4 points on the day. Hands off, Bowen Hardman, three-pointer, a little off the mark there. And on the floor, there is a dispute on what the call is. The officials take a timeout with 3:45 to go in the first half as Akron leads 39-30.
Looks like it was an over-the-back call on Masimi Kamali, and that is the call indeed.
Yep,
it's his first.
Yep.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, just confirmed that. And that'll take us to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Ball State Men's Basketball on SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call Wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pridemark Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pridemark Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
And Mickey Pearson comes out of the break after the Akron foul as the Zips lead 39-30. Here from Worthen Arena, 3:45 to go in the first half. Mickey Pearson will shoot 2 from the charity stripe, an 83% free throw shooter.
That's right, he's 6th in the MAC this year in free throw percentage coming into today. One of the better shooters across the conference. And if you ever get into an endgame situation, Ball State, he's the guy you want the ball to be in his hands.
So in other words, if you're John Gross, that's the guy you don't want to foul.
That's right, and who knows, not too much of a close game so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got close, and if we get to a late game situation like you said, something his assistant coaches are probably going to tell him.
Pearson first free throw falls, and that's the history with Mickey Pearson. Last year he was 3rd in the MAC in free throw percentage at 85%, so he's always been in that mid-80s range, which is pretty solid. Mickey Pearson looks to go 2 for 2, and he does just that. A 7-point advantage for Akron now, 39-32.
Pearson quietly having a solid game, 10 points so far, still 3:40 to go in this first half.
Shama Scott right to left, guarded by Britton Watts. Handoff from Okonkwo. He controls straight away. Bowen Hardman, who is guarded by Mickey Pearson. Akron working the perimeter with 10 on the shot clock. Nate Johnson's in the jam. He has to give to Okonkwo. Johnson controls with 5 on the shot clock. Near corner, Shama Scott with Peyton Sparks on him is able to drill the corner 3.
Shama Scott's 3rd three-pointer of the contest. He's now up to 11. No fouls yet either.
42-32 Akron over Ball State. 3 minutes and some change left. Peyton Sparks, top of the key. Okonkwo bodies him, and a foul called against the Zips. The question is, will it go against Okonkwo or Scott? And it looks like they give it to Okonkwo as he reached on Peyton Sparks. That'll send the big man to the free throw line, as on the year, Peyton Sparks shooting around 63%.
Yeah, not bad, especially for a center. You see a lot of times across basketball, centers usually can't shoot, like, for example, Shaquille O'Neal, but Peyton Sparks is one of their better free throw shooters.
The first free throw off the front of the rim, and the moment you said that, I knew that was coming.
Announcer jinxes do not like me.
I will say, because we had a bit before the game, knock on wood, but there's no wood around us, so everything's coming to fruition. Peyton Sparks, he does go 1 for 2.
He has saved me. I'm not going to be blamed for the 1-point loss.
Akron, a 9-point advantage over Ball State. Just under 3 minutes to play in this first half. Shama Scott, the give to Hardman straight away. 3-pointer, gets it to fall over Mickey Pearson. Didn't even graze the rim.
NBA length behind the volleyball indent in the court.
45-33 Akron leads. Jamari Hill pushes. Fadeaway jumper at the free throw line off the side of the rim. Peyton Sparks tried to pick up the mess. Nate Johnson had it, but he stepped on the baseline as he got the rebound away from Peyton Sparks. Cardinals catch a break here.
That is a break right there, and like I've been preaching on this broadcast so far, rebound, rebound, rebound. Sparks had that rebound in his hand, and then it went off his head, and he lost possession of it. Luckily, they caught a break, but the Cardinals, if they want to get back within less than 8, they got to rebound.
Ethan Britton Watts inside. Bowen Hardman gets a finger on it. Akron with another turnover. Lob up for Kamali. It was almost showtime, but just off the mark with the lob. A little too short. It goes out of bounds off of Gorosito. Akron will inbound on the baseline. And it looks like head coach John Gross wants to talk about it with 2:18 left to go in the first half, a 45-33 Akron advantage, which I think is the perfect time, if we're talking about John Gross, to kind of talk about his background. And it all started right here in Muncie, Indiana, where him and his half-brother Travis Steele were raised. And you may know Travis Steele as the head coach of Miami of Ohio basketball.
That's right. I mean, they had a rivalry. They had one probably pretty much every year as conference rivals. But this year, John Gross got the best of his brother. But he hails, like you said, from Muncie, Indiana. He went to Danville High School and actually was a player just up the road in Upland at Taylor University.
Yeah, and for John Gross, he's been everywhere. We've seen him take a 13-seed Ohio Bobcats team to the Sweet 16. We've seen him with a 5-year stint at Illinois, a Big Ten head coach. But at the end of the day, it all began right here in Muncie.
That's right. And another note is he's approaching 250 wins at Akron. Currently sits at 248, which is number 2 all-time in the program. His predecessor, Keith Dambrot, has the most.
That's got to be great to go from one great head coach to another. Top of the key, Masimi Kamali. Hands off to Shama Scott. Goes back outside. Nate Johnson gets one man to miss. Spin move, mid-range shots, an air ball. Kamali gets past Sparks. Akron drives inside with Johnson. Too strong. Ball State with a 5-on-4 as Johnson gets up a little late. Gorosito falling down, defers it outside to Britton Watts. Fat Hill bounces into Peyton Sparks. Tries to back down Kamali, near corner. Gorosito, his three-pointer. Swirls out. Mickey Pearson tips it out to Nate Johnson in the process. Akron strong the other way. Blocked by Hill. Cardinals now left to right as they trail by 8. 45-33, a minute 30 to go in the first half. Fat Hill with the driving lane. Up, under, and in for Fat Hill. 45-35 now.
Hill with an athletic play right there. First the block. He barely averages any blocks per game, and then takes on their big man. Takes on Johnson. Goes up and under and in, like you said.
Shama Scott with Britton Watts on him. Gets the screen from Kamali. A jumper just inside the perimeter, and Akron responds with another 2 points from Shama Scott. He's up to 12 points in a timeout called by head coach Michael Lewis with 1:05 to go in the first half. And with Shama Scott, I did want to reference this. He's having a great day. He so far is the only player for both teams, the only player for Akron, I should say, to be in double digits. However, there's more to Shama Scott that you might not know. His YouTube channel, Ma World, where he posts vlogs about Akron basketball, family life with his twin sister. I mean, there's a lot more to the story.
That's right. Another thing you might not know about him, his high school, Shaker Heights, is the same high school. They have the same notable alumni. They have Terry Rozier, Machine Gun Kelly, and Kid Cudi, if you did not know.
I mean, you mentioned all of those names, and I can just assume that's deep in the heart of Ohio right there.
That's right.
Yeah, those are some Ohio legends right there, and Shama Scott looking to add his name to that notable alumni list.
That's right, and we touched on it before, but he's not a starter, and he's up to 12 points already. Really playing well. Only had 4 points in the loss to Ohio. Has proven his worth off the bench so far today.
Again, both teams showing the depth that they have today. Gorosito inside to Peyton Sparks for the Cardinals on the right end of the court. Britton Watts has an open driving lane, and he's able to swirl it in. But as he did that, Nate Johnson touched it. It's a goaltend. Cardinals now cut it back down to 10, 47-37, just under a minute to play in half number 1. In comes Ben Hendricks for Peyton Sparks, and it'll also be Bowen Hardman for Akron coming in for Kamali.
Yeah, Britton Watts, who's in his 6th year of college basketball, caught them lacking right there, cutting inside to the paint, got the basket to go, even with the goaltend violation.
Shama Scott with Hill on him. Britton Watts guards him closely on the left wing. Ben Hendricks with a tight defense, a mismatch for Akron, though. 34 seconds on the game clock. Seth Wilson, deep left wing 3. Swirls out. Mickey Pearson collects it. Wilson now 1 for 4 from the three-point line today. And Jamari Hill moves slow. The shot clock is off. Game clock to 15. Cardinals looking for the final shot. Jamari Hill has Nate Johnson on him. The game clock down to 10. Hendricks with a screen. Now Hill penetrates. Up over too strong. Hendricks back up with 2 on the shot clock and in. 8 points is now the deficit for the Cardinals. And that'll take us into halftime. Akron with a 47-39 advantage over Ball State. But hey, the Cardinals got a little bit of momentum working their way going into halftime.
Great foul there by Hendricks. Saw the miss, cleaned it up, put it right back up and in. That is something you look for in your center. I said before maybe they need to switch it up, get Peyton Sparks in there more. But he's shown on that last play. He's got to be there, he's got to rebound well, and he's got to put the ball back because like we said, this is going to be a physical basketball game.
And we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back as you're listening to Ball State Men's Basketball on SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Ranked number 2 in the nation for sports media by the Broadcast Education Association.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paintwork on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
The best stories in Ball State sports, plus live broadcasts right in your timeline.
Follow us at BSU SportsLink.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptonin.com. At munciesweets.hamptonin.com.
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State sports with SportsLink Digital.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Ranked number 2 in the nation for sports media by the Broadcast Education Association.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paintwork on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
The best stories in Ball State sports, plus live broadcasts right in your timeline.
Follow us at BSU SportsLink.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptoninn.com. At munciesweets.hamptoninn.com.
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State sports with SportsLink Digital.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
The best stories in Ball State sports, plus live broadcasts right in your timeline.
Follow us at BSU SportsLink.
Back from Worthen Arena, the Ball State Cardinals trailing 47-39 to the Akron Zips at halftime. I'm Roen Elbert, joined by my partner, Sam Klug. And to go over some first half stats, Akron with a 46-39 lead, but some standout guys, Shamas Scott with 12 points, and for Ball State, on the other hand, Mickey Pearson with 14. But the main storyline right now for Akron was just how they came right out of the gates midway through the first half and took control of this game. It's been a high-scoring contest, to say the least. Akron, they are on pace to score nearly 100 points. Again, high-powered Akron offense. Sam, what do you think has been behind that?
Well, I think what's been behind that is they're shooting. They've been shooting really good. They're playing well from beyond the arc. You look at guys like Shamas Scott, not a starter, doesn't usually get minutes. He has 3 threes on the day. Seth Wilson, Bowen Hardman have added one, Nate Johnson as well. I mean, they've been shooting great from beyond the arc, and I think they're going to look to do it again in the second half.
And it's interesting, one of your keys to the game for the Cardinals was spread the love. And we're looking at 3 guys right now for Ball State. Mickey Pearson with 14, Fat Hill with 10, Ethan Britton-Watts with 8. So 3 guys who are pretty close to that double-digit range or are already there. However, the rest of the supporting cast outside of those 3, only 3 other scores. So again, it proves your point.
That's right, and you look at a guy like Peyton Sparks, 1 point on the day, something we definitely did not expect coming into this first half, and they need to get him going if they really want to contend in this game versus such a high-powered team.
Yeah, Peyton Sparks, he can truly be a game changer. I think we all know that. And props to James Okonkwo, who has shut him down. He has 2 block shots on the day, both of them on Peyton Sparks. And also a goaltend on Peyton Sparks. Okonkwo hasn't done much in the scoring realm, hasn't even attempted a shot. But let's get into why Akron has been so successful. You mentioned the shooting. You also have to touch on the lack of turnovers. Only 5, the Cardinals with 6. But you look at the shooting difference. Cardinals at 44%, Akron at 54%. That's a big difference. But for you, Sam, how does Ball State get back? I'm not even going to say get back into this. It's an 8-point game with plenty of time. How can Ball State make this their game?
I think it all starts with rebounding. Touched on it a few times throughout this broadcast. You look at the numbers right now. Akron at 16 rebounds, Ball State with 12. It looks like a 4-point rebounding difference, but that's a big swing. 4 more rebounds for Ball State. Who knows? That could be 4 more buckets. Guess how much they're down by? 8. That's 4 buckets. They get 4 rebounds, they're tied with Akron. Or if they get 4, maybe they're up by 2. Who knows? You just have to look at it that way. They need to get into the paint. They need to get those second chance looks that they've been allowing Akron to have. And it's something that they need more of. So I would say to get, or maybe like you said, not get back in this game, but maybe win this game, is win the rebounding battle. And another guy I want to, obviously, it seems like I keep harping on him, but I'll say the centers as a whole for Ball State, maybe Ben Hendricks and Peyton Sparks. Sparks, like we said, only has 1 point, but like I said before, he leads the MAC in reboundings. They need him to get in there, get some rebounds, play physical like he has been. That's going to be their keys to winning this ball game.
Yeah, for Ball State, how do you unleash Peyton Sparks? Because what we've seen from him, he's gotten plenty of looks down low. 0 for 4 from the field, however, his only point, of course, coming from the charity stripe. So how do you get him more involved?
I think you just got to give him the opportunity. Give him that clean, crisp pass. Don't be sloppy. A lot of the passes that have been toward him today were kind of all over the place. Maybe when he was more contested, he wasn't totally open, right? So I think you need to give him a good opportunity to catch the ball, take a nice power dribble, and get up. But another point I want to touch on is the doubling that Akron we have seen from their zone defense. They tend to double him down low. He struggles when he gets the double, and he has to throw it back out to one of the wings for Ball State. That's something they also need to realize. If it looks like Sparks is going to get doubled, maybe don't force that pass in there. Maybe swing it around the wing another time.
Yeah, and for Peyton Sparks, right now in the last 5 games, he's been impressive. 15 points per game, 7.5 boards, and 57% shooting all in the last 5 games for Peyton Sparks. So it's interesting if we're going to see a different side of Peyton that we really didn't see in half number 1. But now for Akron, let's touch on maybe a bit of foul trouble. Tavari Johnson, 3 fouls. That's a guy you don't want to see get into foul trouble. He only played 5 minutes in the first half, yet they still lead by 8 points, and that's a guy who has been the maestro of your offense all year.
That's right, and like I said earlier, it's kind of a next man up mentality. Johnson goes down with those 3 fouls pretty early on. I don't even think we had eclipsed the 10-minute mark. And you're like, oh, who are we going to go to? Obviously, Shama Scott stepped up. But this is a guy who, like you said, leads their offense, averaging 12.5 per game. It's kind of similar to the Josiah Harris moment where he got injured early on. It was kind of the next man up mentality. But I think he's going to get a few more minutes here in this second half, and I think Ball State also needs to take that into accountability because they know that he obviously is one of their better scorers, and they got maybe a little more lucky he got into foul trouble in that first half.
And now as we are nearing the second half, we're about 3 minutes away from second half action. What would you say for Akron, what they need to do? Shooting-wise, they are on it right now, but what can they do to further pull away from the Cardinals?
Yeah, well, I would say obviously limiting their fouls because the more they foul, the more chances it's going to give Ball State at the line, in the bonus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But also another one is continue to win the rebound battle. I touched on it a lot for Ball State, but they need to continue to be good at rebounding the basketball because if they don't, you're going to see a guy like Wansi Gorosito or Mickey Pearson fly in there and grab a rebound. Another thing is close out a little bit better on Ball State's three-point shooters. Obviously, you said Ball State hasn't been shooting totally lights out, but when they get the opportunity, a guy like Jamari Hill, Mickey Pearson, and Ethan Britton Watts, all of them have made three-pointers with Britton Watts and Pearson making multiple. So that's something that maybe could get a little scary in a late-game situation.
And that'll take us to a quick break. The next time you hear from us, it'll be time for second half action here from Worthen Arena. We'll be right back. Ball State 39, Akron 47. You're listening to Ball State men's basketball on SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call Wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pridemark Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pridemark Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
Indiana's top sports media school in 2024 by the Indiana Association of School Broadcasters.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
Back from Worthen Arena, the Cardinals gearing up for second half action. They trail 47-39 to the Zips of Akron. I'm Roen Elbert, joined by my partner Sam Klug. And we saw the opening of that first half, so back and forth, so high scoring. And right now, if these two teams continue their pace of scoring, we're going to be in for a treat in half number 2.
Yeah, I said earlier in the pregame, this could be a shootout, and it's kind of turned out to be that way. Cardinals scoring almost 40, the Zips scoring almost 50, like you said, on pace to go right around 100 points. We're in for a good one, folks. Stay tuned. We got you to the end.
Now, Mickey Pearson will inbound for Ball State. Again, the Cardinals in their gray uniforms with red lettering and white trim. The Akron Zips in their navy blue uniforms with gold lettering and gold trim. And now we are back for second half action. Cardinals right to left, Britton Watts controls. He gives to Fat Hill, a pick from Sparks. Up, under, and in. The Cardinals are back in the scoring column to open the second half. They cut it down to 5.
He's a guy they need to keep getting opportunities to score. He's their main guy.
Shama Scott, who has been the main guy for Akron, controls. He's up to 13 points today. Hands off to Nate Johnson. Pull-up three-pointer straight away. It's short. Isaiah Gray fights for it, but Gorosito of the Cardinals is able to get control of it.
6th rebound on the day for Gorosito.
Yeah, you can tell the guards in the last couple of games for the Cardinals have been getting boards. You saw Fat Hill with 10 rebounds in the game against Buffalo. Speaking of, he controls on the left wing, lobs up for Peyton Sparks, and he is fouled by Okonkwo. And we mentioned Peyton Sparks, only 1 point on the day so far, 0 for 4 from the field. I think that's due in large part to the man guarding him right there, James Okonkwo, who has been very physical. He just checked out of the game for Amani Lyles.
Yeah, that's a very positive for Okonkwo. He's playing well, but that's his 3rd foul on the day. Him and Tavari Johnson now are in foul trouble with 3 apiece.
Britton Watts will inbound. It's tipped, but Peyton Sparks is able to get it for the Cardinals. Backs down Gray, spin move, and blocked by Amani Lyles. Peyton Sparks now 0 for 5 from the field. He has an open driving lane and a hammer. Amani Lyles, 49-41 Zips.
Man, talk about end-to-end blocks. Peyton Sparks, who's not a small guy, goes coast to coast, jams it home. Silencer.
Jamari Hill, guarded tightly by Nate Johnson, goes back outside to Wansi Gorosito. Fat Hill again controls. Gorosito thought about firing up a deep 3. He instead pushes. Far corner, 3-pointer from Pearson. Drano! Mickey Pearson gets it back down to 2 possessions. 18:30 to go in this contest. 49-44 Akron.
Pearson up to 15 on the day.
Isaiah Gray goes hard with it, up and under. Akron responds with another 2 points of their own. 51-44. Akron has had the answer to every Ball State response, it seems like. Out of bounds, Fat Hill loses it on the far side.
Again, you got to control the ball. Ball State these last few possessions has been pretty sloppy in possession-wise.
Now Shama Scott for the Akron Zips. 18 minutes to go in this one. They lead 51-44. over the Ball State Cardinals. Scott has some breathing room. Deep three, drains it. Shama Scott is on a different level today. 16 points, a 10-point Akron advantage. Ethan Britton Watts crosses half court right at the head of Charlie Cardinal, guarded closely by Gray. He's walking that tightrope on the half-court line, but he's able to escape over the Gorosito. He's on the left wing. Defers back out to Fat Hill. He pump fakes. Still in trouble. 5 on the shot clock. Gorosito drives the baseline. Another one for Britton Watts. He's able to drill the far corner three. Cardinals again back in at 54-47.
Britton Watts' third three-pointer of the day. Gray looks like he wants to pull up.
Back outside, Lyles, his three-pointer. Akron, another three-pointer. Back and forth yet again, just like the first half, where it's a 10-point Akron lead.
And man, they have an answer to every single Ball State basket, it seems like. They cannot cut into this 10, 7-point lead.
Blow for blow. Mickey Pearson, will he respond with a three of his own? Not quite, a little too strong as he was in the far corner. 57-47, Akron with the advantage. Just under 17 minutes to play in this one. Amani Lyles backs down Peyton Sparks. Fade away short. Gorosito, his 7th rebound. He's moving quick, one-on-one with Wilson. Goes strong and short. Lyles inhaling the miss for Akron. Gray, pull-up three-pointer for the Zips. Rims out, collected by Fat Hill. Hill controls, going right to left for the Cardinals. Gets a screen from Peyton Sparks straight away. Thought about a three. Gorosito open in the right wing for three. Rims in. Cardinals cut it down to 7. Timeout called by head coach John Gross of the Akron Zips. The Ball State Cardinals going blow for blow with the #1 team in the MAC.
Yeah, and I think the Cardinals need to continue going back to that three-point shot. We've seen it on 3 of their last 4 possessions. 3 of the makes. I mean, man, you're going to cut into the 7-point lead if you can get stops on defense and keep shooting that 3 ball. But like we've said, it seems like Akron always has a response.
Now with 16:08 to go in this game, Akron 57, Ball State 50. And again, like we said in the halftime report, Akron, they were on pace to go to 100 points. The Cardinals on pace to go around the 90 range. And it just goes to show, even in the first 4 minutes, the trends are continuing from half number 1.
That's right, and like we said, it's continuing to be a shootout. Teams are making three-pointers left and right, and I think it's going to be something we continue to see. Both teams playing fast, playing physical. We see these guards get these rebounds, and they take off down the court, either pulling up from the three-point line or driving it in.
And now with 16:08 to go in this game, there's plenty of time for Ball State to, I wouldn't even call it mount a comeback. They're only down by 3 possessions. This game, especially with the pace of play that I wanted to get into, it can change within an instant with how fast Ball State is playing. How do you anticipate Akron maybe trying to match that or trying to up the pace themselves?
Well, I think it's just, grabbing those rebounds like we've talked about, but going fast, being the team that goes fast. We've seen it kind of throw off Ball State when it comes to setting up their defense. They have a very man-oriented defense. Akron, on the other hand, has that zone. They can kind of play from one end of the court to the other in that zone defense. They don't struggle as much trying to stop ball, per se, because it's not man-on-man. I think if Akron speeds it up, it's going to be harder for Ball State to get back into this game because, they have to pick and choose which possessions, are important. Like we said, they're down by 7, which doesn't seem too big of a comeback, but, still, this is college basketball, both teams. And when you're playing a 13-1 team in conference, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, and I don't think the Cardinals have ever had a game like this where it's been so back and forth, yet both teams are playing so fast at the same time. It's been very fun to watch for the fans, for sure.
I would totally agree. We got a good crowd on hand. And like you said, Ball State 3rd best attendance in the MAC, especially coming down to the wire. Only got, I believe, 1 more home game after this.
Yep.
On March 4th. So the Muncie community trying to see what is left in this team.
Yeah, you called it right there. March 4th against Central Michigan. That'll be senior day. Tavari Johnson controls for the Zips. Swings it across. Nate Johnson at the mat logo. Back outside to Young. Tavari Johnson, right wing 3, thought about pulling up. He instead goes over, sparks Nate Johnson off the handoff at the glass and in. Akron with the response, 59-50 they lead.
This is the first time we've seen Tavari since the first half. And after getting into that foul trouble, number 5 is back.
Yeah, at 3 fouls in this contest already. Mickey Pearson, left wing 3, unable to respond. Young, the freshman, with the board. Tavari Johnson controls with Britton Watts on him. A screen from Kamali. Tried to drive baseline. Instead, he'll step back. Mid-range shot rims out. Foul on the floor. Looks like it'll go against Ben Hendricks.
That's his 3rd in the contest, I believe. More foul trouble. Looks like we got a timeout from head coach Michael Lewis.
Yeah, and Ben Hendricks, so far the first Cardinal to touch the 2 foul mark alongside Jeremiah Hernandez. So the Cardinals' foul trouble, that's been the one thing that's been in their favor compared to Akron. We really haven't seen that foul trouble so far.
That's right, and like you said, he's the first guy to only reach 2. Correct my last mistake. Only 2 so far on the day today, but again, Ball State showing their weaknesses a little bit here on the offensive and defensive side.
And Shama Scott, I have to talk about it with Akron. There are so many great scoring options on this team. However, it seems like going into this one, a lot of people overlooked Shama Scott, and look at what he's done on the day. 16 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from downtown, also 4 rebounds and 4 assists. How do you contain him, if you even can?
I don't really know how you can. And again, he's a guy who was kind of under the radar. He's not one of their main scorers, only averages about 8.5 a game, similar to Amani Lyles. But one thing I do know that's very similar that Ball State, maybe they realized, he wears number 1. And you know who also wears number 1? Is Fat Hill. But another similarity is Shama Scott also took a hiatus here to go to junior college. He was academically eligible to go to school, but decided, take a little bit of a different route other than what most college basketball players would do. Fat Hill also went to Pearl River Junior College and eventually found his way to South Plains Junior College, and now he's here at Ball State. So some similarities between the number 1 players on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and the main thing also, both players, they have played for 3 schools in their time in college basketball, because after his 1 year at Northwest Florida State JUCO College, Shama Scott ended up being with Wichita State. And what's funny about the recruiting process, after his freshman year in JUCO, he had a lot of schools looking at him, especially in the MAC. One of those teams, Akron. So Akron, they were unable to get him the first time around, but the second time, John Gross was able to pull some strings and get Shama Scott to be a Zip.
That's right, and he's proven to be an integral part of their 21-6 season. And we keep harping on their really good MAC record, their good record overall, but if you don't know, to get into this NCAA tournament that's coming up, not only do you have to be a good team to maybe get an at-large bid, which is harder for these smaller schools, but if you win your conference tournament, you get that automatic bid. If Akron, gets the 1 seed, they'll have the more favorable side of the bracket, and if they end up winning the MAC tournament in Cleveland, they're going dancing.
But hey, you have to remember though, the 1 seed in the MAC tournament has not won the MAC tournament since 2019.
Not a good streak so far for number 1 seeds.
And now Akron back with it. Nate Johnson on the right side of the court. Up under, back outside to Tavari Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. Pushes on. Mickey Pearson goes underhand with it. Able to swirl in. Tavari Johnson finding his groove. 8 points on the day as it's now 61-50 over the Cardinals.
They have missed his presence. He's shifty, he's confusing, he confuses defenders, and he's back out there for a reason.
Fat Hill right to left, up, under, and in, going glass. The Cardinals get it back into single digits. Under 15 minutes to play in this one, 61-52.
Hill up to 14 on the day now.
Tavari Johnson at the free throw line. Drives in strong with the right hand through the contact from Hendricks. And the bucket. Tavari Johnson in double digits, which considering the amount of minutes he's played on the day, which right now at 6 minutes, he's played only 6 minutes all day and already in double digits, goes to show the great scorer Tavari is.
Yeah, and since you folks on listening to us, obviously you can't see it, but the way he attacks the rim is very shifty, I like to describe it. He fakes out his defender one way, goes the other way. Obviously, he's a right-handed ball player, but even though you're trying to force him left, he forces you to let him go right almost. He kind of has his way with you, you know. He makes the baskets look so easy, and he's a bucket getter.
Now Tavari Johnson, first free throw is able to fall through. 52-64. Now Ethan Britton Watts takes it up for the Cardinals as they trail by 12. Isaiah Gray looking to check in for Akron potentially as he's at the scorer's table. Ben Hendricks on the left wing, poked away by Johnson, but Fat Hill recovers. He controls it at the top of the key. Gorosito guarded by Hardman. Left wing, 10 on the shot clock. Fat Hill attacks, goes up strong with the lay-in and the foul. Jamari Hill looking to complete the three-point play.
Great play there by Hill, attacking the rim. Kind of held it up, a little bit of a jelly there, right off the finger roll.
And that jelly roll layup, one of the best you'll see. And apparently now basket just rimming out, it appears, as it went in, back out at the last moment. So now there'll be 2 free throws as Fat Hill now makes it an 11-point game.
He doesn't need that first bucket, though. He scores enough.
Exactly. That is the main thing. 15 points on the day, trying to make it 16 right here, and he will do just that. A 10-point game now. Akron controls it on the right side of the court. Tavari Johnson, who's had a big day with limited minutes, as we touched on, with 14 minutes to go in this contest. Akron controlling with a 10-point lead. Tavari Johnson, step back on Fat Hill. Hardman, deep three straight away, a little too strong. Long rebound from Hill for the Cardinals. Now on the left end of the court, Britton Watts with it at the Charlie Cardinal head. Gorosito now working the perimeter. Britton Watts has it. Hernandez thought about a screen. He backs down near block. Mac logo floater from Britton Watts is short, collected by Gray. Isaiah Gray backs down Jeremiah Hernandez, but back outside to Lyles. Spin move off of Hendricks. Top of the key, Nate Johnson controls. Another left wing three from Hardman. He drains it. 67-54. Bowen Hardman for the Zips makes it a 13-point game.
Second three on the day from Hardman. He has 2 of them, 6 points total.
Ethan Britton Watts at midcourt, guarded closely by Gray. We've seen that little bit of pressure that Akron has brought all day. Right wing, Britton Watts fires it over to Gorosito. Fat Hill with it on the left wing. He attacks on the baseline. Fadeaway jumper on the mid-range. A little bit off to the right side of the rim, and now under 13 minutes to play. Akron with a 13-point lead, trying to pull away. Isaiah Gray. Hernandez tried to poke it out. He instead goes back outside to Lyles, and it goes off the left end of the rim, and Gorosito now controls for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Ball State in a little bit of a slump right now.
Gorosito, three-pointer, rims out. Hernandez with the rebound for Ball State. Left wing, he pump fakes, drives, mid-range shot, just swirling out.
Ball State in a drought right now. Plenty of missed shots. They've been getting some rebounds, but cannot get one to go down.
The Cardinals are one of their last 4 field goal attempts, but the Cardinal fans are rallying behind their team still nonetheless. Tavari Johnson at midcourt goes strong with it underhand, and Akron silencing the crowd with another bucket from Tavari Johnson. 13 points he has and a 15-point Akron lead. Gorosito driving on the baseline, bounces in for Ben Hendricks, up and over, off of the back iron. Cardinals missing yet another field goal attempt. Gray, spin move, open driving lane, picked out by Fat Hill. One-on-one, behind the back, and the jam from Fat Hill. Akron back the other way, left wing Hardman, the response, rims out, Hendricks inhaling the miss. Hardman tried to get back on D with Gorosito, unable to pick his pocket.
Got to get the crowd going. That Fat Hill dunk did a little bit, but you need to keep going.
And the
official timeout here, right?
Yeah, the official calling a timeout. And I wonder what this could be for. Yeah, official's timeout, but not. And that takes us to a media timeout, however, as the Cardinals were having Peyton Sparks and TJ Birch check into this contest. And it's worth noting with TJ Birch, new story out now from Ball State Sports Link, Bloodline Matters, talking about TJ Birch's family his path to get to Ball State, which there have been many ups and downs, and really just showing the potential that the young freshman Birch has.
Yeah, that's right, and he's waiting for his minute, you know what I mean? He hasn't really had as much playing time as maybe he'd like. He hasn't played double digits since December 21st, but his time is coming. Like you said, he's a fantastic athlete who originally committed to McNeese State to play for Will Wade, but found his way to Ball State, and he's going to be a great player one day.
Yeah, McNeese State, again, they're having a really good year, as they did last year, likely to win their conference. And Akron's in a very similar situation. But I do want to get into the Zips tournament history while we get on that note. Last year, Akron was in the big dance. They won the MAC tournament as the 2 seed, and they ended up facing number 3 Creighton as they were the 14th seed, ended up losing 77-60. And the last time we've really seen a MAC team dominate in the NCAA tournament, and not even that, the last time we saw a MAC team really get a win, 2019, Buffalo, Nate Oates being the head coach now at Alabama at Buffalo, and that was also the last time a 1 seed in the MAC tournament ended up winning the MAC tournament.
That's right, and as you said before, MAC teams that have gone on runs in the NCAA tournament. Another one I'd like to mention is Ohio, who John Gross, obviously we touched on him, he coached. They went to the Sweet 16 in 2012.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, let's make it clear. Nothing is out of the realm of possibilities in March. Any team, I mean, hey, even the Ball State Cardinals currently sitting at the 6th seed in the MAC. You never know. They can punch their ticket into the big dance and make some noise. This is why you have to love this time of year.
That's right. March brings what's called madness. And if you're from the state of Indiana, like Ball State being in the state of Indiana, they like to add the word hysteria. Hoosier hysteria. And that's a great way to punctuate what this month and kind of all the tournaments coming up really means. It's a hysteria. You know, you have these teams who have been up and down throughout the season, like the Ball State Cardinals. Then you have the teams who have been nearly flawless, like the Akron Zips. And they battle it out for a championship. You know, for the pride of your school, you're playing for something bigger than you. You're playing for the name on the jersey.
Yeah, the name on the front of the jersey, that is the main thing to emphasize. For both teams, it's all about the road to Cleveland, Ohio, where we will see the MAC tournament being played. Akron, they've already punched their ticket. Now the question is, can they get that 1 seed? The Cardinals still trying to punch their ticket. TJ Birch inbounds. He's in trouble. Gives to Jeremiah Hernandez as the Cardinals have it on the left end of the floor. And it looks like an illegal screen goes against Peyton Sparks. Akron now has it on the right end of the court. 69-56 with 11:11 to go in this one. Akron in control over the Cardinals. Ball State bringing the pressure with TJ Birch, the young freshman, and Shama Scott takes it up. What a day he's had for the Zips. 16 points. A screen from Okonkwo. Top of the key, Hardman. Fadeaway three-pointer. Swirls out and foul on the floor. It looks like Okonkwo interfered with the shot.
It looks like it might be an over the back or a hooking call.
Yeah, because
if it is on Okonkwo, that's number 4.
Yeah, that would be his 4th foul. We've seen him in a lot of foul trouble, but what I also saw was right as it was hitting the rim, we saw him interfering with it not even with it coming down. The ball had not really come down yet, and Okonkwo was touching, but it looks like it could be an over the back, which again, 4th foul. We saw a lot of Okonkwo in the first half, not so much in the second.
That's right, and like I said earlier, these last 7 games, he's really struggled with fouls. And obviously, he's one of their main guys who's kind of been really silencing Peyton Sparks so far. And he's a guy who can really bring this arena to life. I mean, Peyton Sparks can, get those buckets underneath, grabbing a rebound, and he's pretty much been non-existent here in this game as a whole, and especially this second half.
Yeah, and it's shocking. Peyton Sparks only 1 point on the day. I don't think anybody expected that. We all knew Okonkwo versus Sparks would be a fun matchup, but I don't think what we expected was for Okonkwo to get into foul trouble, because in the first half, defensively, that was fun to watch. Now the Cardinals, they have it on the right side of the court. Akron bringing in a full court press. which is interesting. You're up by 13, bringing a full court press. Why do you think they did that?
I think they're trying to put this game away, get an end to it. They want to get out of here with a win.
Zips looking to put the nail in the coffin. TJ Birch driving strong with the left hand through the contact and the shot. TJ Birch is ridiculous. He'll look to complete the three-point play and cut it down to 10.
That's his first points in a good amount of time. Didn't score any in 1 minute of action versus Buffalo. Buffalo. Good for TJ Birch, averaging 4.2 on the year. Shooting 60% from the free throw line.
TJ Birch looking to complete that three-point play. And it just swirls out. Again, Ball State trailing by 11 now, 69-58. 10:30 to go in this contest. The Cardinals, they can still get back into this, but time is running out. Amani Lyles, spin move off of Sparks, gets him to miss. Back cut Young, up, under, and in off of the glass. Akron 71, Cardinals 58.
Young kind of been a little quiet since that first half. Big bucket there, and like we said, always having an answer for the Cardinals offense.
TJ Birch off of a pick from Jeremiah Hernandez. He's controlling the offense. Hernandez drives in just a little bit too strong. Peyton Sparks bats it back out to Akron's possession with Seth Wilson. Right wing Shema Scott drives, carves his way to the cup. Far corner passes it back out to Young. It's a little bit too much, and Lyles gets the rebound. Hardman drives in, foul on the floor, goes against Jeremiah Hernandez as Bowen Hardman tried to jam it after the fact. Mickey Pearson will check in for Ball State. But again, even on the perimeter, things are getting chippy.
They are, and the crowd did not like that attempted dunk right there as Akron pulls ahead right now by 13. But again, Akron has proven to be the better team in the paint, and that's why they're getting these second chances as they had just inbounded the ball.
Yeah, it shows you that even the crowd knows about some of the unwritten rules of the game of basketball.
That's right.
Far corner, Lyles. Miscommunication, but Wilson recovers short on the three-point attempt on the right wing. TJ Birch gives the Fat Hill, as now Hill will control for the Cardinals as they trail by 13. And a foul called on the floor. It'll be on the Zips as Mickey Pearson looking to set a pick. Looks like he got shoved by Young. And Young will be subbed out for Tavari Johnson.
Yeah, these are important possessions coming up. 9:30 left to go in the game, and it shows the kind of trust you have in your team. Michael Lewis playing a freshman, TJ Birch, number 22, who actually, he's got the sleeved undershirt, but man, he's playing a freshman in these big-time moments. This is what some would call a must-win game.
TJ Birch in trouble on the right wing. Too strong on the pass to Gorosito, but he's able to recover at the top of the key. He fires it back over to Fat Hill. Gorosito controls yet again. 5 on the shot clock. He drives into a sea of blue, and it's a little too much on the lay-in attempt. Zips the other way.
Another good rebound right there for the Zips, proving to be leading in that category.
Tavari Johnson has some breathing room, but he hands off to Nate Johnson. He's stripped by Peyton Sparks at the MAC logo. Fat Hill going quick. Underhand to TJ Birch. Back to Hill. Up, under, and in with the foul. Jamari Hill gets the Cardinals within 10 with 8:49 to go in this contest.
Great play by the freshman TJ Birch. It went from Hill to him, and he could have gone up with it to score more of his own points, but he found Fat Hill trailing him again, gave it up. What a selfless player, and now a chance to complete the three-point play for a guy who's now eclipsed the 20-point mark. Fat Hill up to 20 on the day.
Yeah, Jamari Hill with his 7th 20-point game of the year. And it's interesting to note, we talk about TJ Birch with a very selfless play over there. And that's what Michael Lewis has been teaching him ever since he got to Ball State back in July. Training was that, hey, I'm sure most of the plays in high school revolved around you as Hill's able to complete the three-point play. However, you got to make plays for other guys. And Michael Lewis said that kind of reminded him of himself back when he was at IU in the 90s.
That's right. He played under famous coach Bob Knight, who just got passed by Tom Izzo for most Big Ten wins.
Tavari Johnson with a strong take, falling down, hitting the deck hard, but still laying it up and in. 73-61, Zips in front, 8:30 to go in this one.
Johnson has proven to be the difference, even with 3 fouls here in this second half. always has an answer for Ball State.
TJ Birch in trouble, gives back out to Gorosito on the left wing. Back at midcourt with Birch. Right wing, it's Jamari Hill. He lobs up inside for Mickey Pearson on the opposite block. Lays it up with 5 on the shot clock, bounces in off of the back iron. 10-point contest, Akron out in front.
Pearson up to 17 on the day. Another guy providing a lot of assistance for this offense.
Top of the key, Amani Lyles. Thought about a handoff to Nate Johnson, but a back cut from Tavari Johnson. And it's a foul on the floor going against the Cardinals, which takes us to a media timeout. Akron, a 10-point lead over Ball State, 73-63, 7:50 to go in this contest. We're going to take it to a quick commercial break. You are listening to Ball State men's basketball on SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptonin.com. At munciesweets.hamptonin.com.
You're listening to SportsLink Digital, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Your home for live Ball State sports.
Back from Worthen Arena as we near the conclusion of this MAC Tuesday night action. MACtion, as many like to call it. The Akron Zips with a 73-63 lead over the Ball State Cardinals. I'm Roen Elbert, joined by Sam Klug. And the Cardinals keeping it within reach, but at the same time, yet to really attack. How do the Cardinals carve their way into that 10-point deficit?
Well, I think it's, passing the ball around, spreading the love, as we like to say. You saw from that last play, making selfless plays. TJ Birch being a selfless guy, giving it up to the leading scorer in the game. And I think all of them kind of need to learn from the freshman, which is kind of rare. But make these selfless plays, do what's best for the team. You're in kind of a do or die. You still have plenty of time to cut into a 10-point deficit. But this Akron team, especially with Tavari Johnson, they are known, I should say, for having a response to whatever you throw their way.
And now here we are with 7:50 to play. The Ball State Cardinals, they're in a bit of a hole, but at the same time, we've seen it time and time again where this Cardinals team can go on these big runs. Let's see if Akron has the response to them, though.
Looks like we got a football in play almost. Got almost a lineup, but like you said, they can go on a run. We got a good crowd on hand. Maybe the crowd can get behind their Cardinals a little bit.
Amani Lyles controls for Akron at the top of the key. It's Tavari Johnson guarded by Gorosito. He pushes with the layup and in on the near block. 75-63. Tavari Johnson up to 17 points with the limited minutes he has of about 10 right now. It's wild what he's been doing.
Almost 2 points a minute. He's come alive here in the second half. And he's playing selfless and freely.
Fat Hill fights through the contact on the far block to get another 2 points for his Cardinals. Now back to a 10-point game, 7 minutes and some change left to play. Isaiah Gray works off a pitch from Lyles. Gorosito guards him closely. Near block, lays it up through the contact and gets the shot to fall. Isaiah Gray will look to complete the 3-point play from the charity stripe. Akron with a 12-point advantage.
Little lazy foul, I'd like to say there, by the Cardinals. Didn't really know what was going on, kind of just tried to bail themselves out with a good defensive play, but it's going to cost them as Isaiah Gray will go to the free throw line, shooting 75% so far coming into today.
Gray is 2 for 2 from the line. 7:07 to play. He's able to complete the 3-point play. And now here we go with TJ Birch taking it up right to left for the Ball State Cardinals. Fat Hill with it on the left wing. They go back and forth between Birch and Hill, straight away and on the right wing. Far corner, Gorcito. Inside on the block, up, under, and in for Mickey Pearson going glass. Cardinals now cut it back down to 11. Tavari Johnson blows by TJ Birch on the right wing, puts it up, swirls out. Jamari Hill collects the miss, takes it back right to left for the Cardinals. He controls with his right hand. Back out, Mickey Pearson throws it up. Didn't know exactly where he was going, possibly looking for a pass inside. Nobody home, but he throws it up and no good.
I don't know if that's the shot right there in that moment. Now the Cardinals still down by 11 with Tavari Johnson in possession of the basketball.
Johnson on the block, guarded closely by the freshman Birch. Fade away off of the spin move, and he's somehow able to get it to fall even with a hand in his face. 19 points for Tavari Johnson. 80-67. The Zips are running away with this one. TJ Birch blows by a defender. Mickey Pearson, left wing three. Drano! Mickey Pearson cuts it back down to 10. Shama Scott with under 6 minutes to play. Bounces inside to Okonkwo, up and over, short. Gets his own board over TJ Birch with the mismatch. Inside Shama Scott, back cut, and the jam from James Okonkwo. 82-70, Zips in front, 5:30 to play, and the rim is still rattling.
That punctuates his game today. Struggling, I had a miss first off, hadn't really done anything so far. Then he gets the rebound and the opportunity to jam it home.
Left wing, Gorcito looking to counter with a three-pointer. It's off, but Mickey Pearson's able to touch it up and poked out of bounds on Tavari Johnson. He's looking for a review. He thinks that's out on Mickey Pearson, but I don't think he's going to get that. TJ Birch will inbound, and Sharon Young checks in for Akron. He comes in for Tavari Johnson.
Getting to a little late in the game. Ball State really needs to take care of the basketball. They look a little tired out there, but it's a 12-point game. This is where legends are made.
TJ Birch on that left wing, spins off of Gray, swings out right wing Gorcito. Now he penetrates. Deep three, Birch able to drain it straight away. TJ Birch gets it back within single digits with a 9-point deficit now, 73-82.
Huge three from the freshman. That's what they needed.
Shama Scott off of the underhand from Okonkwo straight away. Now Isaiah Gray on the high block. Gorcito guards him like a blanket. Behind the back pass from Johnson. Straight away three from Gray. Off the right side of the rim, barely grazing the rim. TJ Birch, Gorcito, open driving lane. Peyton Sparks down low, looking for his first field goal. Too much. He still only has 1 point. Akron going quick the other way. TJ Birch reaches in, and the crowd not liking any of that.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play down low. Sparks got the ball and looked like he went up for the fake and just completely lost control. Looks like he was trying to maybe sell the foul call, and that caused him to miss. And Michael Lewis has seen enough. He's going to sub him out. Back in is Ben Hendricks.
Yeah, Ben Hendricks checking in for a struggling Peyton Sparks, and you can tell the frustration is setting in as Shama Scott has it at the top of the key. And for Peyton Sparks, his days here at Worthen Arena are numbered. He's a senior, and his final game here will be on March 4th. Swirls out on the shot attempt from Tavari Johnson, and it looks like they call a foul on the floor after the fact, and you can hear the boos flooding in from Worthen Arena.
Crowd not happy with that one, as you can hear, especially the student section, and we got Poma in the house, Pride of Mid-America Marching Band. They are not happy with that call. And due to the bonus, I believe we have 1-1.
Amani Wiles swirls out. Mickey Pearson looks like he got fouled trying to rebound it, so now the Cardinals get a call going in their direction. 4:14 to play in this one. Akron an 82-73 lead over the Cardinals. Ball State still a 9-point game, but it's going to take quite a bit to claw their way back into this one. And Mickey Pearson out of the bonus. The Cardinals now in the bonus, so Mickey Pearson will shoot 2 free throws.
We said this earlier, this is the guy you want at the line. They are very glad he got fouled. 84%, 6th in the MAC in free throw.
The first free throw is good. And on the contrary, John Gross, head coach of Akron, this is not who you want to foul. This is not who you want to put at the free throw line.
Don't blink now. If he makes this, cuts it to a 7-point lead.
Swirls in. I was looking at you the whole time. I was hoping there was some wood I can knock on. But Tavari Johnson, left to right, crowd going wild. Worthen is rallying. Lyles, spin off of Hendricks, back outside. Seth Wilson thought about a left wing three. Shamas got open driving lane, up and in, silencing the Worthen Arena crowd. 84-75, the advantage they have under 4 minutes to play. Now TJ Birch going strong with it, blocked by Lyles into the crowd. That takes us to a media timeout with 3:42 to play in this contest. 84-75, Akron in front. TJ Birch, quite the effort, but Amani Lyles said, nah.
This Akron team has shown to be special, if I do say so myself, from silencing a Worthen crowd with a pretty good amount of people on hand to a major block when they needed it most. 3:42 to go, and only a 9-point lead. It might seem like a lot, but you never know what can happen in college basketball.
And I'll tell you this, I know I've not been at Ball State very long. I'm only a second semester freshman, but I have not seen Worthen Arena this packed. And I genuinely mean that. This crowd is rowdy tonight. They are into it, looking to have the Cardinals pull off an upset victory. We'll take it to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back for the final 3 minutes and 42 seconds of Ball State versus Akron, where the Zips lead by 9. You're listening to SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State Sports with SportsLink Digital.
Back from Worthen Arena for the final 3 minutes and 42 seconds of this MAC saga on a Tuesday night. The Cardinals trail 75-84. They do have possession on the left end of the court. I'm Roen Elbert. This is Sam Klug with me. And even though it's a 9-point game, it's closer than you think.
That's right, and Ball State has the ball now, can cut it to up to a 6-point deficit only. Ben Hendricks takes it in.
Yep, that would be a 2-possession ball game. Gorosito straight away, screen from Hendricks. He's guarded closely by Seth Wilson. Hands off to TJ Birch, drives baseline, goes strong, goes glass and in. TJ Birch, the freshman, making an impact. 7-point game. Tavari Johnson takes it up, guarded by Birch. TJ Birch, the freshman, getting the most minutes he's gotten since the Evansville game in December. Johnson looking to silence the crowd, unable to do it. Mickey Pearson the rebound. Cardinals looking to rally, down by 7. Fat Hill, tough take, in! 5-point contest, 3 minutes to play.
Man, TJ Birch and Fat Hill, when you need them most. Timeout Akron, but wow, Worthen has come alive.
Can you hear it here in Worthen? I mean, that's not a great question. You can hear it.
That's right.
But with Ball State, they have carved this Akron lead down to 5. The Cardinals within striking distance with 2:57 to play, 84-79. I have to point out, TJ Birch, the freshman, The last time we saw him with double-digit minutes in a game, you have to go all the way back to December 21st against Evansville. TJ Birch making an impact today with 7 points. Not only that, a pair of assists, and a big part of as to why the Cardinals are right here in the thick of it.
That's right, and it shows a lot of trust from Michael Lewis, who obviously has been at stops like UCLA, has played at Indiana. He's been at big-time programs, but he trusts his high school recruits, even though he's at a lower-level school. He's trusted TJ Birch with these important minutes, and it's not like anybody's in crazy foul trouble, but he's trusted his freshmen to go out there, play his part, play selfless, and he's actually ended up scoring quite a few points. He's got 7 on the contest, and he's only played probably 10, 15 minutes. He's shown to prove that that scholarship spot was totally worth it.
And Akron, a 15-point lead they held just 10 minutes ago. The Cardinals have shaved 10 points off of that lead. Akron looking to respond in a big way. Tavari Johnson on the right side of the court. He will inbound with TJ Birch on him.
They're probably going to try and go back to Johnson. He has been the crowd's silencer so far today. He already has 19 points in limited playing time.
Nate Johnson, right wing, guarded closely by Hill. He hands off to Shama Scott. Isaiah Gray with 2:50 to go on the game clock. Halfway through the shot clock at 15. Shama Scott on the left side, still working the perimeter. Guarded by Pearson. Step back 3 in his face. Short, long rebound by Nate Johnson. Wow.
Something Ball State needs to get better at if they want to try and win this game.
Tavari Johnson driving baseline. Far corner, open 3. Scott swirls out. Another rebound from Nate Johnson. He's coming up clutch. Isaiah Gray hits the deck on the perimeter, but Tavari now controls it at the top of the key. 2:15 to go in this one. The clock's still ticking. Shot clock down to 9. Nate Johnson penetrates. And a foul called on the floor. However, Akron in the bonus, so Nate Johnson will shoot 2 free throws. TJ Birch fouling there.
Yeah, and I've touched on it so many times in this broadcast, but rebounding is quintessential to a victory. And you saw right there, twice Akron got the offensive rebound, leading to not only wasting a good amount of time, 50 seconds off the clock, and now they have 2 free throws.
Nate Johnson swirls out. That's huge for the Cardinals.
We hear a tater tot chant coming.
We see the tater tot fathead in the student section. Will they get it? Second free throw. Johnson preventing the fans from getting some tater tots. 2:11 to go. Clock ticking, 2 minutes and some change to go. 85-79, Akron in front. Still a 2-possession contest. Ethan Britton Watson trouble. Has to go back out to Fat Hill. A pick from Hendricks. Goes strong to the cup. Short, but he's fouled. Jamari Hill will be going to the charity stripe for 2.
Looks like Akron did not like that call. Looks like he did get a hand on the ball, which would be a block, but looks like he got a little bit of a body bump. Jamari Hill going to the line. Shooting a 67 coming into today. Not the best, but if you're looking to a guy to trust, I think you look to the guy who scored 25 points and has gotten to the free throw line numerous times.
Jamari Hill has been the hero numerous times. You can hear a pin drop in Worthen now. Off back iron for Jamari Hill, a 66% free throw shooter going into this one. However, it can still be a 5-point contest if he can drill the second.
Like we said, Ball State not in foul trouble if it ever gets down to needing to foul.
And he's able to go 1 for 2. 85-80, Akron with the advantage. Under 2 minutes to play. Tavari Johnson blows by TJ Birch on the left wing. He's on the near block. 20 on the shot clock. Tries to back him down. Back outside, Nate Johnson. A screen from Lyles. He's in trouble, guarded by Hendricks. Fadeaway jumper, swirls out. Mickey Pearson the board. TJ Birch the other way for the Cardinals. Looking to potentially make this a 1-possession game. Officials timeout, however. They're reviewing a play.
Looks like maybe trying to reset the shot clock or the game clock. One of the two might have not gotten set so far, but both teams going to head to their huddle. Kind of a interesting moment. Maybe kind of breaks Ball State's momentum.
But that's the question I wanted to ask you. If you're head coach Michael Lewis, boy, would I love to be a fly on the wall on that conversation. But What do you think he's telling the guys right now?
Do what you've been doing. You have this momentum. You've shown that in kind of a crazy last 5 minutes where it looked like you were completely out of it. They were down by 9 to 13 points in that range, and then you put a freshman out there who's just a spark to their confidence and their momentum. I think it's keep doing what you're doing. Don't let the rebounding on that other possession get to your head, in which you allowed them to make one free throw. Continue to pass, look for the open shot, get the best shot that's going to be worth taking.
The Ball State Cardinals, going back to their last lead they had, you have to go all the way back to the 13:45 mark in the first half. It's been a hot minute, but here we are, Akron, a 5-point advantage. The Cardinals have carved a 15-point deficit down to 5, and still plenty of time, and they're in the driver's seat. They have possession right here. What do you think they come out with out of the timeout?
I think they look for some sort of ball action, maybe get the ball in the hands of TJ Birch, see what he can do. But I think if you're going to go plain and simple, kind of vanilla, go with Jamari Hill, taking it to the cup, getting a foul call, maybe putting it in for a three-point play. But, man, I don't know who else's hands you would want it in than Jamari Fat Hill.
You know, we got the vibe all day just from talking to people around athletics, talking to people all across campus. This game was the biggest of the season for Ball State and for Akron for that matter, because if they win this, they're then a win away from at least sharing the MAC regular season title. Huge implications for both teams. Both teams can feel it, but the question is, who will be able to capitalize? You're about to find out. With 1:30 to go in this contest, the Akron Zips with a 5-point lead over the Ball State Cardinals, 85-80. Ball State with possession on the left end of the court. The question is, who wants it more?
That's right, and like you said, Akron only a win away, but they also want to prove that coming off the loss, that was a fluke.
Ethan Britton Watts at midcourt off of the inbound. He's trapped, walking the tightrope. He's able to give off to Fat Hill. Shot clock down to 20. Far corner, Birch is open. He gives back out to Britton Watts, however. Mickey Pearson, floater short at the MAC logo. Kamali with the board for the Zips. Now Shama Scott with a minute and change left. He's on the right side of the court, potentially looking to make this a 3-possession game. Left side, Nate Johnson off of the handoff from Fat Hill. 15 on the shot clock. Akron working at half court, not even working the perimeter.
Looks like they're trying to waste this shot clock. No foul intended from Ball State.
Shot clock down to 5. Shama Scott, step back on the left wing. His fadeaway jumper. It's an air ball. Shot clock violation. 41 seconds left. Cardinals have possession.
Wow, they took the risk not fouling. Michael Lewis knew. He's like, hey, not the time to go for the foul. It's going to give them an even larger lead. And now it looks like it paid off. 41.8 to go. Timeout's coming.
Yeah, another timeout from Michael Lewis, trying to fine-tune some details before we get to one of the biggest, if not the biggest, possession of this entire contest. Let's talk about some matchup history, however, while we're at this point. Akron leading the all-time series 31-19. Their first matchup, you go back to 1937. That was a tight one, and it was a 39-38 Ball State victory. This game, quite the contrary, and so far, 160 combined points for both teams. Akron, they've won the last 3, but Ball State looking to break that losing streak.
Yeah, that's right, and Ball State is actually 13-11 here at home in Worthen, but on the road, 6-18. So, if history proves right, they have a much better chance of winning this one than they did about a month ago in Akron.
Yeah, and that's a tough place to play. Akron undefeated at home for a good reason. The only MAC team that is undefeated at home. Right end of the court. Fat Hill inbounds for the Cardinals. He gets it back off of Gorcito. He crosses the timeline with 35 seconds to go. About 11 seconds separating shot and game clock. Mickey Pearson, straightaway 3. Off back iron, collected by Lyles of the Zips. Shot clock is now off. Wansi Gorcito intentionally fouls at midcourt of Shama Scott. He will shoot 2 free throws, a 74% free throw shooter, and 3 for 3 on the day from the charity stripe.
Yeah, I don't know if that is the particular guy you want to foul, as some of the fans that start to head for the exits. But, hey, if that's the only option you have to foul, you have to get the foul. 23.8 left. Things are not looking bright for the Cardinals.
Off the front of the rim, Cardinals back the other way. This game is not over. The fans are stopping in their tracks. Right wing, Gorosito, 15 seconds. Unable to fall, out of bounds. Who will it go to? It's on the floor. They will review it. You have to review it. With 13 seconds left, a 5-point game. Looked like it was out of bounds on the baseline. The question is, off of who?
Looks like it was Peyton Sparks and another Akron player, maybe Amani Lyles down there in the corner near the state word on the baseline. But this is the review of the game, I should say, if we give out an award like that. Whoever wins this basically going to have pretty much control of the game. Akron wins it, they're probably going to get more chances to shoot free throws. If Ball State gets it, the question is, who are they going to put it in the hands of to try and knock down a 2 or a 3?
The weird thing is we never really got a call on the floor, which makes things a little bit more interesting when it comes to the review front, because you've heard the term a million times, not enough to overturn. There's really nothing to overturn. There was no call on the floor.
That's right. So what do you go with when you don't know, or when you think of you saw one way and now you're like, oh, maybe it did go off Akron. Maybe it did go off Ball State. Time will only tell. But another thing, it gives it a bit of suspense. Like you said, some of those fans who were leaving, I still see them sticking around. They stopped cold in their tracks.
And that was the goal for the Cardinals. I'm sure some of them saw them heading towards the exits. They wanted to stop them in their tracks, have them keep flooding back into Worthen. And we don't see the review itself. That will really only be exclusive to the ESPN Plus broadcast. Nothing on the video board, but it looks like we're getting an official word. The officials are huddling in what is the biggest call of the game. This could decide who walks away from Worthen Arena with a W. Will it be the Akron Zips leading the MAC conference as of now, or the Ball State Cardinals looking to punch their ticket to Cleveland for the MAC tournament? Officials still look, and who will it go to? It looks like he's talking to Akron, the head official. And I'm looking here, and they're pointing towards Akron, but then pointing towards Ball State. This is interesting. Still no official word.
Adding to the suspension here in Worthen Arena. Fans.
And they're going to call a double foul, it appears, and it will stay with Ball State. So there was a tussle between Peyton Sparks and an Akron Zip. They don't call it out of bounds. They instead call the foul. But now they go back. And now they go back and say Akron. We heard Ball State on the PA. Now Akron. The Zips have control with 13 seconds left. Shama Scott on the left end of the basket. The inbound. Cardinals have to foul with 13 seconds. They trap Tavari Johnson. 10 seconds. Now they fouled.
A valuable 3 seconds have gone off the floor there. Oh, it's a jump ball.
Yeah, Cardinals get possession off of the jump ball. It looked like they fouled in that corner, but the Cardinals now with 9 seconds looking to pull off a miracle. A timeout from head coach Michael Lewis. This changes everything.
It really does. I mean, that's the perfect play you want there. And although 3 seconds went off the clock, like I was kind of saying, that's all right. 3 seconds went off. Now you got possession. Now it's the time to give it to your best player. Hit the shot you need the shot. Then get another foul. Hopefully they miss one and come back down and attempt to tie the game.
Yeah, that's the main thing for the Cardinals. 9 seconds left. You have to get a shot off quick. That's the main thing. Get a shot off quick. But not only that, force a turnover. So a lot of variables, but still certainly in the realm of possibilities. It brings back deja vu, brings back flashbacks. If you're an Indiana basketball fan, of Reggie Miller, 8 points in 9 seconds to defeat the New York Knicks in the playoffs. A very similar situation. The Cardinals looking to pull off a cardiac victory of their own.
That's right. And one thing to notice, 85-80, this score has not changed in what seems like an eternity. Now, it partially due to timeouts and all that jazz here at the end of the game, but man, staying the same score. Akron leads by 5. A lot of suspense building up in the fans and players here in Worthen Arena.
Yeah, because you look at the clock, 9 seconds left. That's more like 9 minutes if you really think about it, with the amount of timeouts that will be called, the amount of fouls that will be called. in this 9-second time frame. The Cardinals with possession. You said get it to their best player, and in your eyes, that is Fat Hill, and it would appear Fat Hill has been the hero numerous times on the year.
That's right, approaching 26 points, or he has 26 points.
Yeah, against Eastern Michigan, the overtime game-winning dunk, a SportsCenter top 10 play. Then in Toledo, was so close, hit the game-winning shot over the Toledo Rockets for the upset. However, just a frame too late. The Rockets were able to escape with a W. The Cardinals looking to avoid heartbreak yet again, especially on their home floor. Britton Watts will inbound on the left end of the court on the far sideline. The Cardinals bring out Sparks, Hill, Gorosito, Pearson, and Britton Watts. And the Zips bring out Johnson, Scott, Lyles, Gray, and Kamali. The Cardinals, it's do or die with 9.5 seconds down by 5. Britton Watts inbounds on the perimeter for Peyton Sparks. 8 seconds, has to drive in himself. Can he do it? He does with 4 seconds. Makes the one-possession ball game. Cardinals call their final timeout.
One thing to notice, Peyton Sparks not having a day any basketball player wants to have. Struggling, whether it's from the line, rebounding. He takes control, drives in, gets the bucket they needed.
4 seconds left. The Cardinals would need a miracle. Just under 5 seconds, though. A 3 could take us to overtime potentially. And for Akron, it's all about protecting the ball. I'm sure Ball State knows this is kind of a long shot, but it's that Hail Mary that you have to take.
That's right. It's do or die, like we said. Closing in on Cleveland. It's a must you get this win. They're right on that 8-6 range bubble. You have to be top 8 to make the MAC tournament. And if you want to make March Madness, you have to win the tournament. These games are more than their whole season. This is your season right here. This game and the next 3. This is it. Play like your season depends on it. And looks like we got an important change. Ben Hendricks, maybe a little bit taller of a player, is now guarding the inbounder instead of Peyton Sparks.
Yeah, and then we have TJ Birch checking in as well, the defensive effort he's brought to the table. And I can tell you right now, you can't see it, but you can feel it. Everybody's standing up in Worthen Arena. Akron to inbound, and inbound will essentially end it. Here it goes. And timeout called by the Zips right before they would be called with a violation, which would have given the Cardinals a chance to win the game with the shot clock, with the game clock completely dead. And now both teams 0 timeouts left. This will be the ball game or a chance at overtime.
That's right, man. It was getting close there at 5 seconds. I was like, does Akron even have a timeout? Luckily, they did in their back pocket, and that shows how good of a coach John Gross is. He knew he had it. He knew he could take it down to the wire. He must be able to count really well because that was getting close to 5 seconds. Luckily, he gets the timeout off. And, man, Akron, I don't know if there's any nerves in that huddle right now, but they haven't lost in MAC play at all in a way like this if they were to lose this game. The only loss, like we said, at Ohio was a blowout. They just didn't really play good overall. They haven't had many of these close endings that really kind of bring the fan base or the team a lot of nerves and, oh, are we really this good? Were we kind of overrated in the beginning?
And the last time Akron lost back-to-back games, you have to go back to December, losing to Milwaukee and Yale. 5 seconds. They're able to inbound to Tavari Johnson. He's trapped. Cardinals foul with Hendricks and Birch, sending Tavari Johnson to the free throw line. And just one free throw made, and that will put an end to this one with 3.5 seconds to go.
That's right. We were talking about coaches, talking about what player they want. Tavari Johnson is not a player you want if you're Michael Lewis. 90% from the free throw line. The Lions Township grad has been lights out today here for the Zips.
Yeah, Tavari Johnson on the day. The stat line will tell you 19 points only in 17 minutes. He got into foul trouble early and sitting at 3 fouls, didn't commit a single foul after he came out of that halftime break. And now some of the biggest free throws of his young career. And Tavari Johnson looking to put this game on ice with 3.5 seconds to go. And I can't imagine what's going through his mind. I don't think any of us really can comprehend that.
That's right. And another thing is, when you think of being like big, maybe a good player, they're pretty tall. He's only 5'11".
Akron goes all the way back. Nobody towards the paint. First free throw. Gets it to fall. Now a 2-possession game with 3.5 seconds. That'll all but do it here from Worthen Arena. Second free throw as the Cardinals have no timeouts left. They could honestly miss it, and that would essentially put an end to this one. But Johnson will, for extra measure, nail the second free throw. Cardinals inbound, down by 5, 3.5 seconds to go. Pearson, Britton Watts. He has to throw up a half-court heave, but it will not matter. Almost falls in, but the Akron Zips are able to survive the Ball State Cardinals' wrath. An 87-82 victory, and the Zips are one win away from punching their ticket as the 1 seed in Cleveland.
That's right. Great dominance today by the Zips, and man, talk about under pressure but delivering. Tavari Johnson, who I'm going to say is my player of the game. He may have not scored the most out of both teams, but he came in with 3 fouls. Only fouled, came in with 3 fouls. I don't think he fouled again in today's game. And he proved there at the end, at the free throw line, putting the last 2 nails in the coffin, making those free throws, and giving Akron their 14th MAC win of the year.
It's absurd what Akron has been able to do all season. They complete a sweep over the Ball State Cardinals, now 4 wins in a row against Ball State in their team history. And right now for the Cardinals, it's all about bouncing back. If they could do that, it's a heartbreaking loss, but still plenty of basketball to be played. And for Akron, going into their next matchup against Buffalo, that's a pesky team. What do you anticipate for the rest of the season for both teams?
Well, I anticipate that Akron's just going to, as they're approaching clinching the number 1 seed in a MAC regular season championship, obviously, first off, they want to win that outright. They don't want to share no title. Once they get that done, I think it's just going to be prepping themselves for Cleveland. Obviously, that's a grueling and daunting tournament. You got to go through 2 or 3 rounds of pretty competitive basketball overall. For Ball State, they're just going to be trying to get as many wins as possible. I think if they win out these last 3 games, it almost secures them a spot in Cleveland. But time will tell. Maybe they have to play some pretty good teams coming up. Miami, who's their rival, obviously have to play at there to end the season. Central Mission and Bowling Green. Again, you cannot look past those opponents.
And I'm sure for Akron, head coach John Gross, especially with Miami right at the tails of Akron, maybe he's telling Michael Lewis, hey, could you do us a little favor? Could you get that victory for us, especially over my half-brother? That's the big thing, but wouldn't that be something? If we go into March, even if they're not sharing the outright regular season title, even if it's a 1 and 2 seed, to see that matchup for a 3rd time this year in the MAC championship, goosebumps even thinking about it.
That's right. You look for that brotherly rivalry in sports all the time, whether it's NFL with the Harbaughs or MAC basketball with the Akron Zips and Miami, Ohio Redhawks.
You know, after what we've seen in the MAC all year, I think when we think of sibling rivalry, that's probably what I'm going to think about. And Sam, as we conclude this broadcast, an 87-82 victory for the Akron Zips. Ball State, they fall to 14-14 on the year, 7-8 in MAC play. The Akron Zips improved to 22-6 overall and 14-1 in MAC play. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is, man, the MAC is a very hard place to play, and it shows. Although they came into the day 13-1, it was almost a scare for the Akron Zips. Ball State put up a good fight, but I just know that that MAC tournament is going to be a fun ride. It's going to be good teams playing for a chance to go play in an even bigger tournament, but everybody's got a chance. That's the way I like to put it.
Everybody dreams of playing under the bright lights of the big dance, March Madness, and Akron. Most people have favored them to punch their ticket, but you never know until you get to Cleveland. If history has shown us, with no 1 seed winning the MAC tournament since 2019 with that very dominant Buffalo team that ended up being a 6th seed in the actual tournament, and they were eliminated in the Sweet 16 by a team that ended up going to the national championship, Texas Tech, it tells you that anything can happen, and it's hard to count out anybody, including the Ball State Cardinals. And that'll do it here for us from Worthen Arena. Final score, Akron Zips 87, Ball State Cardinals 82. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Without you, there is no show. I'm Roen Elbert. That's Sam Klug. Good night, Muncie.
This has been a production of SportsLink Digital Radio.